Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Rick Kamla, above me, Dwight Walton, Canadian basketball legend. To my right, it is Brandon Armstrong, a.k.a. B-Dot, NBA personator, rapper, comedian, and many other things as well. These guys are both fantastic sports analysts. We're a little bit short-handed today. Dr. X is traveling, and AM Pfeffer has some family stuff going on. So, fellas, let's get it, man. It is MLK Day, and I would like to start, if it's okay with you guys, talking about MLK, his legacy, what it means to us. Is that okay with you guys?
No
Yeah,
doubt
yeah.
about it. Absolutely.
Sounds
Yes,
good.
sir.
Feels like the perfect way to start the show. And by the way, we will have Ryan Hollins, analyst for the Houston Rockets, joining us at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's MLK Day in the United States of America, and we honor one of the most important human beings ever to walk the planet. This beautiful and profound man gave his life for a world with more love and less hate. And for the pursuit of social justice, to stop the senseless violence by psychopathic, barbaric racists against black people for no other reason than the color of their skin. He's the greatest speaker in American history. To this day, his words, his delivery, his cadence, his presence, his spirit, his soul is felt when you watch his speeches. I get tingles down my spine to this day, all these years later. He's the greatest civil rights leader the world has ever seen. And I want y'all to keep him in your thoughts and hearts every day of the year, not just today. So as we watch all the basketball today, and it's a phenomenal day of NBA basketball, let your mind drift into MLK's everlasting messages. Listen to the MLK conversations and the roll-ins during the basketball games. You know, they'll come back from break and they'll have a beautiful montage and that kind of thing. Watch that stuff. Consume that stuff. Pay attention to that stuff, okay? And then take that with your life as you move forward here. Thank you to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for being so strong and confident and important and influential during a super dangerous time to be a black man in America. Guys, I love him. I was a history major in college, studied, a lot of the atrocities that went on in America. You think of the Native Americans way back in the day. The treatment was just grotesque. And what obviously, long way to go, guys, still in the civil rights movement, but Martin Luther King definitely pushed it. I don't know how much, but a lot, and drew a lot of awareness to it. And I love him to this day. I appreciate what he did. Guys, I'm a peaceful dude. I just want everybody to love everybody. And that's what Martin Luther King wanted. He just wanted everybody to love everybody. And that's the easy way. The hard way is to hate. The easy way is to love. So anyway, Dwight Walton, I'd like to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so to piggyback off of what you just ended your beginning of the show with, Rick, is it's ultimately, I think Martin Luther King was about inclusion. Just wanted everybody to get along. I know that's an easy statement to make, but ultimately, I just think it was the inclusion that was his main concern, his main focus, and that just wanted everybody to be equal, to be on equal footing. And unfortunately, no matter how much Martin Luther King and other activists have done so profoundly for us over the past years, it still really hasn't improved. And it's crazy how I'm saying that in today's technological world, because of the access to hate, to negativity, to everything on there, as much positivity as there is on social media, over the internet, technology as a whole, I think the access has made it even more difficult to be included. Yes, things have changed on the surface, but there are still many instances to where us as black folk are still up against it, if you will. But again, I am here to preach hope. I'm here to preach positivity the same way Martin Luther King did when he was alive, and how all of us in the black community are trying to continue to do over the course of our lives as long as we're here on this earth. So while we cannot be naive to what is happening around the world, I just hope that what Martin Luther King preached in his day and how we as a black community have tried to continue to live on through his legacy, hopefully it gets better over time. As you said, a lot of hard work needs to be done, needs to continue. Doesn't matter what the political affiliations you have. We understand what's going on in the world right now. I don't want to get into that, but it is what it is. We just have to try to maintain the course that we're on right now and to make life as positive as we can, the same way Martin Luther King would want us to do to this day if he were alive.
Indeed. Well said, Dwight. Well said. B-Doc, go ahead.
I mean, man, as a black man from Atlanta, MLK Day, it hits different for me. This just, isn't an off day. This is home. I'm from the city that, dang near raised, MLK, and where his name is history. It's not just history; it's responsibility. And I think, I think about sports because sports reflect society. Progress, never came from silence. Every league, every locker room, every athlete who speaks
Amen.
up, that's the spirit of Dr. King showing up in modern time uniform. MLK Day, it reminds me, that greatness isn't just measured by rings or trophies or, different accolades. It's measured by impact and, by who you stand up for when it costs you something. Atlanta taught me that legacy matters. And, if you've got a problem, you've got a duty. So, today, isn't just about quotes, it's about action. The dream doesn't live in speeches, it lives in what we do next. So MLK Day has always been a special day. MLK has always been a special person to me in general. And, till this day, we try to, like Dwight say, keep hope alive and try to progress one day, one race, 1 minute, 1 second at a time, because little progress is better than none at all.
Just let that sink in for a minute. Correa is already hitting us with respect for starting the show this way. Correa, thank you for being an awesome fan of our show. Well said, guys. Awesome stuff. And let's move in here and talk some sports. We do have breaking news, and Dwight called this on our group chat. Dwight called this, I think, seconds after the Broncos beat the Bills. Yes, I'm gonna try to like keep the references like as peaceful and nonviolent as possible today. So Sean McDermott got fired by the Bills. We're back to 8 openings in the NFL coaching carousel. So this came down today. We used to do the show on Tuesday, so I'm a little, but yeah, it came down today just a little while ago, right? Here's the thing though. Team president, the team promoted Brandon Beane to president of football operations. So they fired McDermott and gave Beane a raise. The owner, Terry Pagula, said, Sean has done an admirable job of leading our football team for the past 9 seasons, but I feel we're in need of a new structure within our leadership to give this organization the best opportunity to take our team to the next level. We owe that to our players and to Bills Mafia. 33-30, one of the best playoff games I've ever seen. Went down on Saturday in Denver. 4th time in 5 seasons the Bills have exited in the divisional round. McDermott's 51, so he's young and spry. Wink, wink. Just a little bit younger than me, but he leaves Buffalo at 98-50. It's a hell of a record. 8-8 in the postseason, not bad. 2 AFC championship losses to the Chiefs, 1 on some bull crap when they scored the touchdown and the Bills didn't get a chance to match. He won 5 consecutive AFC East titles and finished second to the Patriots this year. So, B-Dot, I go to you first here. Was it fair to fire Sean McDermott by the Buffalo Bills?
Man. I don't. The standards, depending on what the standard is in Buffalo, Josh Allen being 0-5 in fourth quarter playoff games down, for the game-winning drive, 8-8 in the postseason. It's tough to say. But at the end of the day, you didn't have a Lamar Jackson in there, you didn't have a Patrick Mahomes in that playoffs, not saying anything to those other teams. Yeah, and those other teams and those other quarterbacks. But when those are the quarterbacks that's been prevailing and been beating you in these past years, and now you have the opportunity to, be that guy, be that team without those quarterbacks, and you come up short again. Yeah, I think it's time for a change for an organization in general. It sucks because of the the winning record, the even kill record in the playoffs, and yeah, like you said, not being able to win these big moment playoff games, especially when these Titans are not in these playoffs. So, yeah. If you look at the glass halfway empty, yeah, I guess you could say it was time for Sean to go.
Dwight, how about you, man?
You know what? I don't think it was correct. I think it was a very reactionary move. But to B Dot's point, because and listen, here's the reality: the Bills had the second easiest schedule in the National Football League. Um, Mahomes, Burrow, and Jackson weren't in the playoffs. This was supposed to be a quote unquote easy path to, at the very least, the AFC Championship game. And as long as that narrative is out there from the media, owners are going to hear that. And what I find unfortunate is that you can you cannot blame a situation on injuries, but injuries happened. And when Josh Allen, and now listen, Josh Allen has to be held accountable for the mistakes he's made as well. He can't go unscathed throughout all of this. He's been a great quarterback, arguably the best player in the National Football League that we currently have. Unfortunately, he's not in the playoffs. Beat out, I'll extend your statistic. He is 0-7 if you include overtime on Josh Allen's record. Not very good. To your point, 8-8 in the playoffs. He hasn't had the success that a great transcendent quarterback needs to have if you want to add to your legendary status. What I don't like, and I said it was reactionary. Owners tend to follow what's going on in any professional league. In this case, what I'll tell you, over the last 12 to 13 months, the National Football League has fired 18 coaches. There are 32 teams in the National Football League, right? So, and then on top of this, and again, I don't know Brandon Beane. I don't know him, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills. But yes, Sean McDermott's the head coach on the field, but you have to be given the ingredients to have those players perform. Brandon Beane is the one who drafted these players, who brought these players in for Sean McDermott to coach. Yet you fire McDermott, but not only do you extend Beane today, you promote him. You give him a better job. So why wasn't he held accountable? Now we can compare this to the Joe Shane situation in New York as a general manager, to where Brian Daboll wasn't his hire, and you could say that Sean McDermott wasn't Brandon Beane's hire when he got to Buffalo. McDermott was there before Beane came in, so maybe you could use the excuse by saying Beane is going to bring in his own guy. Same with how the Giants brought in John Harbaugh. So now they have their guys, right? Is Joe Brady, the current offensive coordinator with the Buffalo Bills, is he going to get the job in Buffalo? Do you bring back Brian Daboll? Josh Allen is as much responsible for this firing today as he is going to be for the hire of the next head coach. But all that to say, fellas, Sean McDermott did not deserve to lose his job today. I'm seeing quotes from players who are stunned by this move. They were blindsided by this move, but I'd be hard pressed to believe that Josh Allen was not at the very least consulted about this. He must have known this was coming down the pike, and maybe to B Dot's opinion here, maybe it was time for a new voice in that locker room. But I will stand by this. I don't think Sean McDermott deserved to lose his job today. Definitely not.
Again, you guys rock, best in the biz, man. So I agree with Dwight that it was not fair to fire Sean McDermott. So Beane remains as general manager, also gets increased responsibilities. He's going to direct the team, search for a new coach. So as Dwight said, not only does he keep his job, he goes up the ladder. So you fire the coach and promote the shot caller, who has miserably failed to give Josh Allen the wide receivers that he needs to get over the hump after the departure of Stephon Diggs. And look, guys, it's finances in the NFL. Kansas City did the same thing to Patrick Mahomes. They said, okay, if you want to completely max out what you're making, then we're not going to pay any of your wide receivers because we can't. And so if you're going to make $60 million a year, 57, whatever it is, and you're this good, then you've got to make others better, okay? And I do understand that. And I do think that that is a pivot of a responsibility to that quarterback that could take less money and have a better team around him. But obviously that's tough. Oh, Josh should take a $10 million haircut. I would never say that, okay? But the reality of the situation is if you want to make top dollar, kind of like LeBron in LA, if you want to make top dollar, okay, your roster's not going to be good enough to win a championship around you. So what's more important, the cash or the rings? Brady took less. Duncan took less. Others have taken less. Durant took less when he went to Houston, okay? And I'm not mad at the guys that want to maximize what they earn. I'm not. I'm just saying this is what comes with it, okay? However, do a better job of picking wide receivers in the draft. Okay, guys, Keon Coleman, I hated the pick when they made it. He is slow. He can't separate. God bless the kid, but I watched him at Michigan State. He was decent. He ran like a 4.67 or something. It was like a terrible 40 time. But he's got a big body and he's a good hands guy, makes contested catches and that kind of thing. Did you see the drop that he had on the play that didn't matter, which was a huge play at the time? Just boom, right in his hands, dropped it. He did score a touchdown. But this year, Keon Coleman, 38 grabs. 38. The whole year. 404 yards and 4 touchdowns, okay? Guys, Khalil Shakir, who I like, he's a stud, but he is a slot receiver, okay? He's not a number 1. He's probably a number 3. Right? Like put him in Cincinnati, right? With T and Jamar, go to work, right? But he's their number 1. Come on, man. That's not even close to good enough. Khalil Shakir led the Buffalo Bills in receiving this year with 719 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's crazy, right? I didn't scan the league, but I would bet right now that that is the lowest total for a leading receiver on any team in the NFL, okay? They had 0 wide receivers or tight ends who had even decent seasons, okay? They didn't even have decent seasons. That's not on Josh Allen or McDermott. That's on Brandon Beane, okay? The Bills were 7th in yards allowed. Again, I'm going to say it, 7th in yards allowed on defense, despite a ton of injuries, okay? That's McDermott's magic. On the defensive end, he was a defensive coordinator before taking this job. No, it was not fair to fire Sean McDermott, but I can tell you who the replacement should be, and Dwight Walton mentioned him. His name is offensive coordinator Joe Brady, okay? This guy is a stud. Look at what Liam Cohen did for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Liam Cohen is in the same kind of pipeline as Joe Brady. Hotshot OC, quarterback whisperer, great play caller. Make him your head coach. Hello, Ben Johnson in Chicago. And I know they left the playoffs last night, but Ben Johnson's a hit for the Chicago Bears, okay? Joe Brady. Again, I think McDermott should get at least one more crack at this, but he's not. Joe Brady's the hire here. He's a mastermind, great play caller, great play designer. Just promote him before somebody poaches him off of your team. Now, let's have a tough conversation here, tough or maybe not, about Josh Allen. Did Josh Allen let his team down? And Jason Arambulo and Kai Josephson are behind the glass. There are guys, they're fantastic. Guys, please have the Josh Allen sound ready for me here because he cries. It's one of the most emotional displays I've seen from any player ever. I'm not mad at him. I'm not trolling him. People want to meme him crying. He's got a Hollywood actress for a wife. He's on a mountain of money. I mean, I think he's laughing last here, okay? But nevertheless, he had a good game, but he had 4 turnovers. Threw for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for another 66 yards, but threw 2 interceptions and had 2 fumbles. They weren't all his fault, But still, that's what it reads. And this is what Josh Allen had to say and the emotion he showed after the loss.
Just missed opportunities throughout the game. It's been a long season. I hate how it ended, and it's going to stick with me for a long time. Yeah.
So you can see it right there, and some of the questions are a little bit inaudible. But I'm gonna go first on this one, guys. Josh Allen is going to have the first new coach in his career. He's been with McDermott the whole time. He's going into his 9th season next year. He has the most playoff wins, 8, and starts in the playoffs, 15, by any quarterback without a Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. What? That's crazy, right? Okay, so this guy's hard knocking on the door. I don't know if he's ever going to get it. I don't know, okay? Because the Bills, like my previous team, I'm now divorced, the Minnesota Vikings, appear to be just cursed. Something always happens to this team. Josh made mistakes. Some were bad. Some were like, dude, here we go again. But then he made some amazing plays in that football game. Okay, the pass to the corner of the end zone to Dalton Kincaid. Are you serious? It's as good as it gets, okay? This was a heavyweight fight. There's going to be, failures and successes. You're going to take just shots to the nose, and you're going to deliver shots to the nose, and it's not going to be pretty. Win the game, okay? The bottom line is this, guys, because I say Josh did not let his team down, okay? Josh Allen threw a dime to Brandon Cooks in overtime to put the Bills in position to either go ahead and score a touchdown or get a Matt Prater field goal to win the game. But Jaquan McMillan came up with, guys, tell me a better defensive play in the history of the NFL playoffs than Jaquan McMillan miraculously stealing the ball from Brandon Cooks. I'm not mad at Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks caught the ball, and as they're rolling, he just pulled it out. It's a phenomenal play. It's a miracle, okay? The Bills lost on a miracle. That's why they lost. They didn't lose because Josh Allen had four turnovers. They lost because of a miracle going against them. Wow. We've seen that happen before. Scott Norwood, anyone? Okay, so I'm not mad at Cooks. I'm not mad at Allen. It's just high-level football. You tip your cap to Jaquan McMillan and say, are you serious, dude? You just won the game on that play. So if Allen did not put the Bills in position to win with that throw, then I might say he let his team down. But he had his team in position to win for a nanosecond, and then the Denver Miracle happened. So I am not saying that. Well, he can say it. He can believe that, internalize it, gain fuel from it, all that kind of good stuff. But I'm not putting this loss on Josh Allen. I think he made a ton of plays in that game, made some mistakes. Bo Nix made mistakes. He made a ton of plays, and it just was what it was. Jaquan McMillan was the difference in the game. B-Dot, I go to you. Did Josh Allen let his team down?
No, he didn't let his team down. At the end of the day, he put his team in a position to win the game. Granted that outcome didn't come as he wanted to, but Josh Allen did everything he could. You make mistakes. It's the playoffs. It's about how you respond. You see how C.J. Stroud threw 4 interceptions the other night. But still almost put his team in a position that come back. It was 4 interceptions. That's a lot in the first half. You really fighting back. But at the end of the day, I think Josh Allen did everything he can, and I don't think it's over for him. Matthew Stafford didn't get his first Super Bowl until his 13th season.
Good point.
Granted he got traded from the Detroit Lions. I don't see the Buffalo Bills trading Josh Allen, but he has plenty of time. Aaron Rodgers I think was 27 when he won. I know Josh Allen's 29. But he has plenty of time. We see how he meshed with his new head coach. They keep that core, that defense, and go get AJ Brown if you can. Go get a receiver Go get a receiver that's looking for, a new ambiance and someone that is going to throw that ball to him. Yeah, go get A.J. Brown. Try to make some type of splash in that wide receiver market.
A.J. Brown, by the way, is still running on the treadmill in the Geico ad. I love
That's
that
right.
commercial because, he is just in full sprint, full stride the whole time with the big smile. I love that commercial, man. That's good stuff. Okay, I love the A.J. Brown call, by the way. Dwight Walton, did Josh Allen let his team down?
Has Josh Allen let the Buffalo Bills franchise down during his current tenure with the Bills? No, he hasn't. Did he let them down in the game against Denver? No matter how we look at it, yes, he put his team in position to win the game, and we can question that call. Jaquan McMillan's was it an interception or was it a catch by Brandon Cooks? And
What did you think, Dwight?
So
did you think they got the call right?
Here's the thing. If you're caught, if you catch the football, you make a football play, and then while you're wrestling for the football, you're making contact with the receiver, correct? That means Cooks was down. That should have been a catch, in my opinion. But because it was so bang bang, the call went to the defensive player. But as a basketball person and currently as a referee, you always give the offensive player the benefit of the doubt. The tie always goes to the runner. The tie should go to the offensive player. Yes, it was a great defensive play. I'm sure if there's Denver fans out there right now currently watching us, they're screaming at me saying, no, it was a great defensive play. And that's fine. The reality is 10, 20 years down the road, the statistics are going to read that Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times in a game that they should have won. And so I'm going to hold him accountable in this particular game, right? In essence, we could also say, did he ultimately get his head coach, Sean McDermott, fired? Because the reality is, if they win that game, Sean still has a job, right? So again, we can heap as much praise as we want to on Josh Allen, but we have to keep it real as well. He could have been better. Yes, he brought his team back from 21-10 down in the second half. Flowers for that. Yes, he put his team in position in overtime with what I thought was a catch, which would have ultimately had Matt Prater kick the winning field goal. Again, my opinion. But sports is a results-oriented business. He didn't get the job done. Josh Allen, over the course of his career, has done right by the Buffalo Bills organization. But in this particular game, I have to hold him accountable. I don't want to blame him fully, but I have to hold him accountable. And to extend my response here, the reason why you see Josh Allen so emotional in that post-game presser, he knows he missed an opportunity because Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes were in the playoffs. And he also knows how tough it is to get back to not only the playoffs, but that position to possibly win a championship. And you know the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be better next season. You know the Baltimore Ravens are going to be better next season. You definitely know the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be better next season. Buffalo, Brandon Beane is on the clock now. You need to do right by Josh Allen, by your franchise player, and go out and get the tools that he needs. Not only on the offensive end, the defensive end as well, but get this man some weapons so when it comes down to the crunch, he has some players that he can put his full trust and confidence in, right? So he understands how difficult it is going to be next season. He's projecting in his mind how tough it's going to be, and I think that's where you saw all the emotions come out in that post-game press conference.
Okay, just a quick detour here. Great riff right there, Dwight. The McMillan interception. Okay, it's one of those rare plays that if it was called a catch, initially, like I can rock with that. It was called a pick. was called a pick initially. They reviewed it, and they didn't see enough to overturn it. If it was ruled a catch on the field, I think they probably would have upheld the call and just gone with it, because there wasn't conclusive evidence that it was a catch or not. But Gene Steratore, Gene, that's just my opinion on it. I mean, this is one of the most debatable plays we've seen in 20 years in the NFL. Gene Steratore, who's fantastic as the rules analyst for CBS, he's way better than Tony Romo, but I'm just kidding. But Gene said Romo actually had a solid game. I was forced to listen. It's a playoff game. I had to put the sound on. Romo had a solid game. He called that looping touchdown to little Jordan Humphrey. I thought that was dope. He had a good game. Romo, you finally had a good game. Okay, anyway. But Gene Steratore said that Cooks did not have full, complete, possession of the football when he hit the ground. And I agree with that. It was kind of moving a little bit, like he had it, but it was kind of bracketed, and it wasn't clutched. And that's part of the reason why, it's a tough play. It's over you. I mean, I'm not mad at Cooks, like I said. It's over your shoulder, and you got a guy on you. It's incredibly difficult. I can't even imagine trying to pull a play like that off, the athleticism it takes. But Steratore thought that it was a good pick because Cooks didn't have full possession of the ball as he struck the ground. And I believe that. That's what I saw as well. Again, totally debatable. So, B-Dot, what did you think, man? Was it a pick or a catch?
Man, I thought it was a catch initially, because same thing what Dwight said. If you come down with the ball and the defender you have contact with the defender, you're automatically down. But, I guess that the momentum he had, they said that he didn't have full control of the ball coming down, and as the momentum rolled over. And, I was always taught, play to the whistle, play till you hear the whistle. And that's what McMillan did. He said, hey, man, I'm going to roll over, take this ball, and let the refs decide. And they decided with McMillan. And you could tell on Cook's face, it looked like he looked defeated. He looked like, yeah, he got me. He didn't look like it was an argument. Like he was disappointed in himself that he didn't control the ball all the way down and keep it in his possession. So I feel as though that confirmed that it wasn't a catch. And that's just from the player's perspective that I'm looking at. He wasn't mad enough for me. He was more sad. Dang, I should have. Goodness, I knew I should have dove for the ball. Like Cam Newton said, I should have dove for the ball.
So here's the thing, fellas, and Rick, I want to refute what you just said. I don't think they reviewed it. Now, in overtime, there's no challenges. In overtime, there are no challenges. They just automatically review every close play. I don't even think they reviewed it. That's how. Now, is that because the officials and the National Football League were so confident with what they saw, as Gene Steratore astutely pointed out during the broadcast, or was that missed? No matter how much of an explanation we heard from Steratore, we heard from Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, from any one of us watching the game, at the very least, the National Football League should have challenged or at least gone to a review so it could be clear.
They did review it. They did review it. It was reviewed by league replay officials in New York. They upheld the on-field ruling of an interception. So you guys know, I think final 2 minutes in overtime, they review every touchdown every turnover.
Every close play.
Like every close play. So it seemed like they reviewed it. I don't know. I just got done watching 4 games. So I don't remember that. Right. But I just went to the internet, and the internet said that they did review it for what it's worth. I don't know.
It was very fast, though, because even Sean called a timeout. He called a timeout and went to the ref like, are y'all going to watch this a little bit longer? Because it happened. And then next you know, the ball is placed down for the next play. Like it was a very quick review. Like they don't review the challenges, the most obvious challenges that that is either overturned or upheld. They don't even take that long. They don't even do that quickly to view it. And Sean called a timeout like, hey man, y'all need to look at this a little bit longer. Like, what's up? And the ref was like,
man, you know why? You know why that all went down that way? because the clock was ticking, yo. The networks were like, let's get through this. Trust me, for the Seahawks and Niners game, Fox was like, hell no. There's no overtime cutting into our Tom Brady time. And the league office, they're in with the TV partners. So they're like, let's get this going, guys. We got to finish this game. So I think that had a lot to do with the rapid sort of situation there.
Yeah.
You know, go to what?
You know what? Sorry, B-Dot. You know what? I don't understand. How come when rules are made, certain plays can be reviewed and others not? I just think it should be an open book. Whatever looks questionable to you, you should be able to review it. To me, that only makes sense. I think if you have complete, full transparency with the fans, the viewers, the broadcast crew, with everybody, just open it up. Whatever looks questionable, you should be able to review it. This you can't. This you can. I think all you're doing with that is confusing the viewer. If it looks wrong or it looks, not weird, but if it doesn't look right, review it. And to me, it's common sense. That's how I think all sports should be when it comes to their review process.
I think the NBA needs more common sense, okay? They parse what coaches can challenge, what they can't.
That's
it's
what I'm
like,
saying.
just get the play right. Just get it right. And like I've always said, the NBA just needs an eye in the sky, okay? An eye in the sky. You could sardonically call it Big Brother, but have an eye in the sky, okay? If they see something that, like Scott Foster, we got to review that. We got to look at that. You guys kind of missed that right there. Anyway, let's keep it moving here, guys. Let's talk some hoops, and let's talk some Ja Morant. Ja Morant had a very splashy Sunday in London. 24 points, 13 assists in his return. He looked great. They won. They had a 30-point lead and then kind of hung on. But he missed 6 games with a right calf injury. And after the game, he said, quote, "I've got a logo on my back." He literally has the Grizzlies tattoo on his back. So that should tell you exactly where I want to be. That's what Morant said. He also said, "If anybody in here knows me, I'm a very loyal guy." Also, he said after the game, when talking about, I can't remember what, but he gave Coach Isolo credit. He said, "That's just credit to Coach putting us in the best spots possible, and then me just being Ja and winding up making the right play, whether it's passing or scoring." I love it when cats refer to themselves in the third person. That always cracks me up. I freaking love it. Remember Reggie Jackson back in the day? Reggie Jackson, one of my faves of all time. But guys, this is noteworthy. Visible public credit from Ja Morant to Isolo. Okay, we've never heard this before. You guys might remember he and Isolo got into it, leading to a 1-game suspension in November for conduct detrimental to the team after a tense public exchange between Morant when he criticized the coaching staff and their approach. Okay, so I'm gonna. You guys are gonna go first here, but I'm gonna set it up and then lay out and listen to your great analysis here. For me, the question with Ja Morant, okay, who's back, played well, okay, we get that. The Raptors, the Pelicans, or the Bucks. And I know our viewers are probably like, well, weren't you just saying he's going to the Miami Heat? It appears he's not. I'm going to tell you why in a minute here. These are the teams that have surfaced since we've last been on the air, okay? Raptors, Pelicans, or Bucks. So the Miami thing. Brian Windhorst, of course, of ESPN, one of the top scoop artists, say the Miami Heat in particular have been overstated as a potential destination, sources say. The Heat have been laser focused on avoiding taking on money for the 27-28 offseason when, as of right now, this is Wimby talking, Antetokounmpo, Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, among others, could be unrestricted free agents. Go ahead and dream. Those are my words. Back to Wimby. He says it's highly unlikely the Heat would deviate from that plan to go after Morant, okay? When Wimby talks, we listen, okay? Now, here's the Morant to the Raptors stuff. Toronto, according to Jake Fisher, is a team to keep an eye on for Ja. Quote, "The Raptors are the only known team beyond Washington to express any meaningful interest in Trae Young before he was dealt to the Wizards, and they have pursued both Dallas's Anthony Davis and Sacks' Domantas Sabonis." He says, "I've also been advised to keep an eye on them when it comes to Ja Morant." Morant to the Pelicans, which I talked about, I believe, last week. Mike Scotto of Hoops Hype writes, despite the production dip, several teams have registered interest. Heat, Bucks, Kings, Raptors, Pelicans. Within league circles, there have been rumblings that Morant's desire for months has been to land with the Heat. But apparently the Heat don't want him. But Scotto brings up the Pelicans, and that kind of caught my eye. Then the Bucks. Again, it's Scotto. He says, meanwhile, the Bucks have canvassed the trade market in search of talent upgrades around Giannis, including the possibility of Morant. Get this, guys, in trade discussions for Morant, the Grizzlies have desired Milwaukee's 2031 or 2032 first-round pick and Ryan Rollins. Okay, so a future first and Ryan Rollins for Ja Morant? So, fellas, Raptors, Pelicans, or Bucks? And I go to B-Dot first here.
Woo, man, I like the Bucks. You know, they're not losing much, not losing anything at all. You know, Rollins is a good up and coming player. Man, Ja in New Orleans, man, NBA young boy with all them. Nah, that's too much. That's too toxic for me. That's I'm sorry, that's just too much. New Orleans is a great city, but it's a lot of distraction out there. And I know we always talk about the off-court distractions with Ja, but NBA YoungBoy being Ja's favorite artist, and we know if you don't know NBA YoungBoy's history, he's just got off of house arrest and has been in court.
He's about it.
Yes, he's about it. 5'6", like all that gun stuff Josh be faking. Nah, NBA YoungBoy, he is. Yeah, that's probably the one NBA reconciliation with Ja Morant we don't want to see that has NBA in it. I think the Bucks, that'd be smooth. Him and Giannis, I like that. And they're still keeping, the core of their players, Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, all those guys. So that would be interesting. And he's in the East because, like we said, the East is still up for grabs. So, but yeah, this happy attitude, Ja. He's in a new atmosphere. He's in New London. He has to be on his best behavior. Just had a great game. He got to keep that trade value up. He over there smiling and saying the right things now. It looks like the joy's back in Ja's game. That's what they're saying. Yeah. So he can either keep that trade, get traded to where he want it, or if he got to stay with this team, he got to be on his best behavior, or we're going to sit your ass down because you see how we've been playing, without you. We've been keeping smooth in the West without you. We don't have a winning record, but our record isn't that bad. We can still fight for that play-in. So I'm happy to see this joy in Ja, and I wouldn't mind seeing Ja and Giannis, two fierce players, especially if they can stay healthy. So, yeah, I like the Bucks.
Solo Donzo digging your stuff, B-Dot, as we all are. Dwight Walton, Raptors, Bucks, or Pelicans for Ja Morant?
First of all, to what you asked earlier, or your skepticism towards Morant, inclusion of Thomas Iliso, his head coach, in his flowers yesterday. Morant knows he's hanging on to a thread with that Grizzlies organization. I think he wants to stay in Memphis ultimately because he feels comfortable there. Yes, he's loyal to the organization, I think, as most pro athletes will want to say whenever they know they're on the trading blocks. But I think Morant knows the situation. Morant knows his days are numbered in Memphis, so he's going to do what he has to do, to Dot's point, where he has to, follow the company line, say the right things, do the right things, try to get the joy back. And the one way to increase your trade value around the NBA is remind the NBA just how good you can be when you're healthy and on the floor. And he did that against the Magic in London on Sunday with that 24-point, 13-assist performance against the Magic. So he is back on track. Again, we could talk about the off-court stuff as much as we want, but the real issue with Ja is availability. And that's why, to your question now, whether it should be the Pelicans, the Bucks, or the Raptors, why go to the Pelicans when your franchise player is never available either? So let's say Zion Williamson and John Morant are playing together. The fans are never going to see them because they're never on the court. They're always going to be injured. So I can't see that being a place of course, with all the other stuff that Dot said about New Orleans, way too many distractions. The Raptors are a no for me as well, although it's pretty clear they're trying to get off of Emmanuel Quickly's contract. That's clear as day. Being here in Canada and just listening to all the pundits around the NBA, Bobby Webster is trying to move Emmanuel Quickly. So, of course, John Morant is going to be tied to any situation that a team needs a point guard. You've heard me already say he should be on the Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards, but that's another team that we could discuss. So to me, the right answer in this question, and remember, Trae Young was just traded for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum. There were no draft picks involved in that. And I immediately said that the trade market is going to be the exact same for John Morant. So if the Bucks only have to give up a future first round pick and their current point guard Ryan Rollins, if I'm the Bucks, I make that trade immediately. I don't know if that's what the Grizzlies want, but if that's all the Bucks have to give up, yes, bring in John Morant. If you're trying to appease Giannis Antetokounmpo yet again, which they've done throughout his 13 years in Milwaukee, that's the move you make. Is it the right move? I don't know, but I think John Horst is also at his wit's end trying to appease Giannis Antetokounmpo, and if that means that they're trying to keep him in Milwaukee, I think John Morant would be the correct acquire if you're John Horst and the Milwaukee Bucks.
This is a no-brainer, guys. This is the Bucks all day, especially as a guy. Is he a starting point guard in the NBA? Yeah. I mean, look around the league, guys.
Yeah, situational.
Guys, look. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not trying to, diss him or anything like that. Look around the league, okay? All of these teams with point guards, right? It's like the thickest, deepest position in the NBA right now. It's hard to be a starting point guard in the NBA. Like, people think Fred VanVleet shouldn't be a starter in the NBA, right? I don't agree with that. I think VanVleet's a stud. I mean, he had a bad shooting year last year, but, we're having a conversation about Fred VanVleet. So my point is, Ryan Rollins might be, he's a young guy. He might be he's a solid starter in the NBA, or he might be like a really good reserve point guard. Okay, that's still a question for me. He has to play for Milwaukee right now. He has to. They have no choice. And he's a good player. And he plays defense. He's grimy. He's slithery. Gets to the cup. I like his game. But, is he the point guard of the future for the Memphis Grizzlies? I would bet against that, guys, frankly. But, again, the Atlanta Hawks got a washing machine for Trae Young. With all due respect to the expiring contract of CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. That's a washing machine, okay? In other words, you're not going to have anything to show for Trae Young or Luka, who you traded Trae for, in a year or two. Not good, okay? So if Memphis can get a first-round pick, which I'm still shocked Atlanta could not get a first-round pick for Trae Young, and Ryan Rollins, who would I rather have right now? I'd rather have CJ McCollum. But CJ's like 33, 34. Who would I rather have for the rest of their career? Probably Ryan Rollins. Okay, so the job package of a first and Rollins, to me, is way better than the package of McCollum and Kispert. This is a no-brainer. You would like to think that Memphis could get more than this for John Morant, but I don't think they're going to, guys. He's burned bridges. He's ticked people off. I guarantee you that there are many, many owners in the NBA that just don't want to do business with him. And we all know why. It's the stuff, okay? But is that right? Is that right? I just think it's a reality. I think there's a lot of teams in the league that won't do business with Russell Westbrook. That pisses me off to no end. There's a lot of teams in the league that won't do business with James Harden for all the stuff that he's done over the years, right? So Ja's not alone in this. There's teams around the league that won't do business with Kyrie Irving, okay? So there's just, some of these guys have done some stuff that's just turned people off, and it is what it is. But if they could get Rollins and a first for John Morant, and for Milwaukee, John Horst, with the stretching of Damian Lillard's contract, positioned himself into one option. He can't tank. They don't have any draft picks. They don't have any financial flexibility. So you have to kind of stay in the go for it lane. That's why they don't want to trade Giannis, all right? They don't have optionality to tank and get sucky all of a sudden and then maximize draft picks. That's not a button they can push, okay? You have to just keep trying to be a winning team, as futile as it may be. But if Ja Morant, Giannis, Kevin Porter Jr., maybe you still have Kuzma. He's been kind of terrible this year. Bobby Portis, Miles Turner. I don't know. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle. You got Ja, you got Giannis, two of the 1,000-watt players in the NBA. I think Giannis, being a serious badass, would like, and I think he's like, if Ja Morant doesn't listen to Giannis Antetokounmpo, I don't know what to tell you, right? Like, he didn't want to listen to Steven Adams. He didn't want to listen to Taylor Jenkins. He didn't want to listen to blah, 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 blah. Okay, Giannis is a killer. All right. If you don't want to listen to Giannis, then you're not going to listen to anybody. Okay. So it's obvious to me this is Bucks all day. All right, guys, we're going to have Ryan Hollins on in about like 5-6 minutes. Let's try to get another topic in here. Does Boston become the top dog in the East with Jaren Jackson Jr. and a healthy Jason Tatum? Here's the intel. Scotto of Hoops Hype reports the Pistons and Celtics are showing interest in Jaren Jackson Jr. Quote, amid Ja trade talks, JJJ remains a player the Grizzlies want to build with. However, that stance hasn't stopped various teams from around the league registering interest. There was another report a week or so ago that if they trade Ja, they may just go ahead and trade Jaren as well. Okay, so that may or may not be on. Jason Tatum, after the Celtics Heat game, said, and guys, if you want to run the video of that as I'm talking and we're talking, he said, I'm ready. Okay, and you could visibly see him at very easy lip reading there. Jason Tatum's father expects him to be out 8 to 9 months with the torn Achilles, according to Mark Spears, who, oh, by the way, is a Hall of Fame reporter, okay? It's already been 8 months right now. 9 months would be February. So it seems like post-All-Star, they always want to bring a guy back after the All-Star break. Like, that may be a thing, okay? And so I'll let you guys go first on this, but does Boston become the top dog in the Eastern Conference, Dwight Walton, with a healthy Jason Tatum and with a Jaren Jackson Jr. trade?
Absolutely. Brad Stevens knows how to build teams. And ultimately, because of the three-point shooting scheme that Joe Mazzulla obviously loves to put forth on the basketball court, Jaren Jackson fits all of the needs that would be perfect with the Boston Celtics. A former defensive player of the year who needs to become a better rebounder, as far as I'm concerned, and hasn't shown the interest defensively that he once did. Now, going to a championship situation, does that change his motivation? I think it should. But Jaren Jackson becomes a stretch five, somebody that you can put the ball in the low post as well. He has a game where he can score relatively pretty well from all three levels, definitely commands the paint, is a rim protector, and would solve many issues on the interior. Then, if they do get Jason Tatum back after the All-Star break, you best believe the Boston Celtics would be the odds-on favorite, as far as I'm concerned, to win the Eastern Conference and represent the East in the NBA Finals. I know Detroit is sitting there. I know the Knicks, who are going through their lulls, is sitting there as well. Cleveland Cavaliers are playing better. Orlando Magic will be a problem in the playoffs. And of course, the wild card will always be the Miami Heat. But again, if Brad Stevens is able to pull off a deal to where they can bring in Jaren Jackson Jr. to that team, and then you get Jason Tatum after the All-Star break, yes, they are my choice to win the NBA's Eastern Conference and represent the East in the NBA Finals. Who do the Celtics have to give up to get Jaren Jackson Jr.? That obviously remains to be seen. But if you put him with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who to me is definitely in the NBA's MVP conversation, the Celtics are coming out of the East.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I like it, Dwight. I like it. All right, so we will table B-Dot's opinion on that and mine as well as we welcome in a dear friend His name is Ryan Hollins, my old colleague with NBA TV. Let's bring Ryan on. Ryan Hollins, what's up, man? It's your boy Cam.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hold on, is that Dot in the building?
What's up, man? What's up, big dog?
Y'all got the crew in here, man. Y'all got the crew in here.
Yes, we do. Ryan, above you, Dwight Walton, Canadian basketball legend. He was a pro ball player as well. He played in the Seoul Olympics in 1988. And as you can see, he got them LeBron shoulders, man.
Hey, he just dropped some gems. I'll tell you that much. I got to step my game up, man. He just dropped some gems.
Thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Ryan Hollins, UCLA product, long time in the NBA. He's now the Rockets analyst with Craig Ackerman. I watch you guys all the time, Ryan, and love the broadcast. And so let's start with your Rockets, okay? This isn't actually scripted because it happened yesterday. And so pardon me for that because we sent Ryan some questions here. But, like, let's talk about Durant passing Dirk Nowitzki on the all-time scoring list. Like, and I know, like, he keeps going up the ladder here. Do we have Ryan? He went black on us. Okay. There he is. Ryan, I just want you to, like, I mean, yesterday it happened. Kevin Durant passes Dirk Nowitzki on the all-time scoring list, and he keeps moving up the ladder here. All right, we're having issues here with Ryan. Uh-oh. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on.
Rick. You didn't send them questions in, Rick.
Oh, we did, though. We did. He's rejoining. He's No, Ryan ain't like that. Ryan is. Hey, Ryan.
My alarm for the show went off, but I forgot. You know, Rick is always early. Okay, Rick is early to work. My alarm was just going off. Okay, for one, before I say anything, let me tell you something, man. Rick, you were so kind to me, man. When I first started in the business at NBA TV, you're one of the people that took me under your wing and always made me feel like $1 million bucks, man. I know I have my work cut out, so I appreciate you. And B-Dot, you know this, fellas, you know this. Like, in terms of Kevin Durant, I would say even from playing against him, having the chance to see him on a night in and night out basis, I didn't appreciate his game the way I should have. And I think a lot of people don't. Dot, you know this, like when you have a guy that's a scorer, I watch him get off the basketball so many times and then still get his 30. And that's hard because I play with guys who they're hunting their 30. They're hunting their shots. You know, they're trying to get looks up. And Durant's efficiency is second to none. And a lot of times for scorers, they just think, I got my number. You know, I got my 25 or 26 a night or whatever it may be. And for Durant, he knows the better that the team is, the better that he is. There's levels to this because he knows once he starts cooking, he knows the double team's coming. So you'll see him as soon as Jabari's guy leaves him, he's throwing it to Jabari. Every single time he's throwing it in the post to LP. You know, he's looking at Reed Shepard, calling Reed Shepard into a pick and roll action with him, trying to get Reed going because he understands I'd rather win. And if you guys are scoring a basketball, I have a chance to be at my best. But the work ethic that he puts in day to day, the chippiness, he's got an edge to him still. So like Kevin Durant, man, he's special. But I would say this is the best leadership that I've seen from him, inspiring the young guys, locked in on his focus. And like the guy talks to everybody in the arena. He signs every autograph. The pictures are taken. Kevin's extremely unique. And make no mistake, he still got that dog in him. So like, come on, fellas, like you notice, like he embraces the trash talk. That's the era that we came up in. He embraces the trash talk, or sometimes he creates it, and he's got that edginess to him that just makes him special. But to have so many, it was funny. I was thinking about this today. You know, I'll throw this to you guys afterwards. Like he has so much in his game. Like he's passed Dirk Nowitzki last night, and many more to come. And I'm like, he's got the Dirk fadeaway. You know, he's got that long right to left crossover. And for those who don't know, for a shooter, when you're a right-handed shooter and you drive to your left, a lot of times that's an easier shot because You don't have to wind your pocket. You're going left, it's right to your pocket. You pull up and you shoot. That's money for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can shoot going to his right hand equally to his left. And that's just hours of film work and study. I've spoken with him, and before the games, he's already and that's the shot right there, that where he ties Dirk. But he already knows a game plan. They're gonna double team me. They're gonna play me one on one. This team is gonna try to get under me. So he can score literally anywhere on the floor, and that's unique because I played with Dirk, I played with KG, I played with Paul, and just the ways that he does it, it's unreal. And I'll say this too, like physically, he's a specimen, man. He's got about a 7'5" wingspan. He's my height. He's my height, and I call it wiggle. He's got wiggle like a point guard, like a two guard. He's a 7'2" guard. So if you watch when we're watching the games, he sinks his hips into a crossover like a wing, like a guard. And a natural big doesn't have the wiggle to get down and get in and out of his crossover into his jumper. So you watch Kevin is very fluid. Bang bang go, bang bang shot, bang bang pull up, bang bang drive. Like he can hit and move. So he's just unique, man. He's a creative player, and I don't think enough respect is thrown his way.
Wow, what a take right there, Ryan. Just a quick tag on the leadership. Kevin Durant reportedly took less money than he could have made to go to Houston and sign that contract, right? That's leadership. That shows winning. I'm not here to maximize my points per game and to maximize my bank account. I'm here to win a ring and get number 3. Huge Kevin Durant fan. I think we all are. B-Doc, go next here with Ryan Hollins.
What's up, big dog, man? Man, it's been a while, man. Good to see you.
Where you been, bro? Where you been? You in Arizona right now? Where you been, dog?
Yeah, man. I'm out of AZ, trying to hold it down, man. Making sure everything is copacetic out here, man. You still looking good, waves still spinning. I didn't know you went swimming before this, man. Goodness,
hey,
dog.
come on, man. Come on. Hey, we try. We get up in age. You lose it up here, you get it down here. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't have a beer when I played. I couldn't have a beer. Now we try to even it out.
No, man. Great having you on the show, man. I just had a question about the evolution of the big man. So, as a 7-footer who played during the shift from traditional centers to pace and space, what's the hardest adjustment modern bigs are asked to make that fans underestimate?
You got to be a ball player. Like you have to be complete, So when I got in the gym, B-Dot, like I put my 10,000 hours into setting screens and getting jump hooks off. That's what my 10,000 hours went to. Now these guys have to have post game, perim game. Like they have to be able to do it all. They got to be able to rebound. And then like I'm asking to guard all 5 positions. When I first came in the league, a lot of teams would hold 3 to 4 centers, 3 to 4 power forwards on every single team, right? Now there's 1 or 2 centers. So your how would I put it? Your analytics have to be off the chart. Your rebounds per minute have to be there. Your 3-point percentage has to be there. These were things that I wasn't asked. So I would say the diversity of the bigs in the game today is off the charts. And obviously, you could argue if you want to for fun's sake, it's a softer game, but it's a game of nutrition. So now I want you to go and get your 17 points, your 8-9 rebounds every single night at 110 or 120 point pace. I played at 100-point pace. The guys before me played at an 80-point pace. So now there are more rebounds. You can say the numbers are inflated, but your hamstrings are on fire from running into pick and rolls, guarding the guards on the Greg Ostertag wasn't on an island, with Damian Lillard, or he wasn't on an island with Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I'm saying? With Trae Young. Ostertag was sitting in the paint in the drop. You feel me? So like there's different expectations of these guys, or they didn't have Brook Lopez shooting 40 from 3. You know what I'm saying? So like the expectations and the challenges to these bigs is completely different now. I could have got me a little corner 3 in, but it was never asked to me, but just, the challenges now it is different. But I mean, me personally, I would have loved to play in this era because I could guard 1 through 5. I'm actually was more comfortable guarding the perimeter than inside. So that's why I would have success against the Aldridges or the Nowitzkis or guys like that or Garnetts because I could get out and move my feet. But again, I have so much respect for the game, the way that it's played. And I think you have to honor each and every generation because them boys didn't have to bro, this is the last I'll say, Doc. Like, I played in a generation where you had the power forward still in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to guard Tim Duncan. You know, I had to guard David West in the pick and pop with Tyson Chandler on a hard roll. I had to guard Amari Stoudemire getting downhill off a pick and roll, getting you bang, bang, spin, dunking on your head. Like you had bigs each and every night. Dwight Howard in his prime, zoning up, trying to dunk everything in the paint. So like you had a DeMarcus Cousins, boogieing, Marc Gasol, Paul Gasol, you had power forwards in the game. So to each its own. It's just a different era. But like you're on alone on the block. Like I couldn't have a job if I had to guard those dudes with help. So you got Tim Duncan, no help, big dog. And
Yeah.
if you can't hold
Yeah.
them or contain them, right, you're not good enough to play. So it presented different challenges, I would say.
Nah, I
One of the
appreciate
best
that, man.
analysts in basketball, Ryan Hollins, the TV analyst for the Houston Rockets. Dwight Walton, you are next.
Ryan, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. To piggyback off of Dot's question. So my question is twofold. A, do the Houston Rockets, and I'm sure you're asked this a ton, do the Rockets need to look at their point guard position? And listen, I'm very impressed with how Amen Thompson, Aaron Holiday, and Reed Shepherd have somehow managed to hold that position down since the unfortunate injury in the preseason to Fred VanVleet. I think they've done an admirable job, but do you think they can improve at the trade deadline? And also to the big man point, do you find the Rockets, and you see them on a daily basis, would they be better off defensively by going to a double big lineup with Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün? Or is that a situational sort of lineup more akin to today's NBA? Because to your point, to ask Steven Adams, to ask Alperen Şengün to have to extend themselves defensively, trying to guard screen roll with how in the NBA today, everybody has to be able to dribble, pass, and shoot. And you're asking a lot of the bigs today to have to guard in this pace and space. It's not easy, but the Rockets have shown success with that double big lineup, especially defensively. How do you feel about that?
I told you know your stuff. I knew the question was coming. I knew you know your stuff, brother. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You throwing the gems out, okay? First off, above my pay grade. As far as the front office stuff, above my pay grade. But I will say, from what I've seen, the last 5 years with Rafael Stone and his front office, they've hit every time, man. And when you're drafting guys into the league, it's so hard to hit. Jalen Green was a hit. You know what I'm saying? We miss him, but you're able to, move him for Kevin Durant, which says you did a darn good job, or else you ain't getting Kevin Durant if Jalen Green is not an elite talent. Alperen Şengün, arguably, a top 3 big, or if not top 2. Let's do it. Top 2 big behind Jokic in the game right now. Amen Thompson he's an alien. He's a freak of nature. So the front office has done a special job as far as going out, assessing talent, and then I will say as far as the trades or the moves, like Rafael Stone has gotten the move that you didn't see. He got Steven Adams when he was injured and said, man, I see as far as we're projecting, because what a front office does, they have a 1-year plan, 2-year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan. And they say, hey, man, in 2 years, we're going to need this. And he's not going to conflict with Alp. Shoot, they're going to play together. So they've done an excellent job. My point is of hitting on all the moves. So I trust whatever is done or not done is going to be the right move. And what you've done, and hopefully it's a blessing in disguise, and you kind of alluded to this, you really hope that they go out and understand that it's given time to Amen Thompson and Reed Shepherd. And I don't think anybody saw point guard Alperen Şengün coming. He's the playmaker. He's the facilitator. He brings the ball up the floor and has given a number of guys opportunities. And I like the way that Ime did it, because he could have forced the ball down the throats of Aaron Holiday or Reed Shepard and say, you guys are point guard. Let me be traditional. And he was very untraditional. You'll see Tari Eason bring the ball up the floor. You'll see Kevin Durant put the ball in the hands and play point guard. So I think each and every guy had been challenged to be better. And I think the growth is going to. I know for one thing, I trust and believe it's going to be the right one. I'm sorry. What was the second question after that?
No, do you believe that the Rockets are better defensively with Steven
There you
Adams
go.
and Alperen Şengün together? Because listen, it is a challenge. Listen, the bigs today are a lot more adept to be able to slide their feet out in space in this pace and pace era because they're being forced to. A lot of the bigs are
For sure.
losing weight so they can keep up with these guards to be able to contain them off the dribble. And the Rockets did have some success early on in the season with that double big lineup. Do you think that could be sustained over the course of the season? Is that a lineup that you should go with over the course? They have a big lineup already as it is. Can Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün be a double big lineup that you foresee giving the Rockets any chance in the Western Conference?
I think that it absolutely gives Houston a chance and an advantage. But I will say the best that I've seen from Ime is that he uses it in spurts. He never lets anybody
Right.
get comfortable. And for those who don't know, when you scout teams, you kind of scout about 5 games in advance. What have you done for me lately? So he'll start Steven certain games, he'll bring him out. Start him, bring him out. Steven I don't know if you guys caught it, but Steven got injured last night, and we're just praying that is
Wow.
nothing structural. Everything is negative, and that we're prayers up for him. He landed on his foot, kind of couldn't put weight on it, so we're scared to death. But hopefully he's fine. But I will say when he's out there, Steven's an excellent communicator. I think that with the way that Ime uses his lineups, I almost want to compare it to a pitcher. If all you have is a fastball, they're going to be able to hit your fastball. So Steven Adams, Jabari, Alpi at center, Clint Capella, he has different pitches that he can throw out. You know what I'm saying? He can go with small lineups. He can go with the major lineup. We saw that last night. Amin Thompson was the 1, KD was a 2, Jabari was a 3 that dominates. Or, he can go with more speed. So you never let teams get comfortable. And Houston's at their best when they force you to match what they're trying to do, because you're going, and this is unique from other bigs. Steven Adams is still able to play because you're going, I have to put my center in to keep him off the glass. And we don't like to play a center. You know what I'm saying? So now you're uncomfortable because you've gone this whole season without a center. And Ime is, from a coaching standpoint, wants to make you uncomfortable on the other side. And now you're playing a lineup that you don't often play. In the last game, you saw a huge monster lineup that was thrown out. New Orleans, all of a sudden, they got Messi on the floor. They got Trey Murphy playing the 2. You had a young fella from Baltimore out there. So you had they had everybody on the floor, and that was a style they weren't used to playing. Houston used to playing like that. So I would say the diversity in the lineup, and when Fred went out, he kind of used that 5th starter as a plug and play, and it's been everywhere from Aaron Holiday to Steven Adams to Tari Eason, and a number of guys have taken that 5th starting spot.
I love what you said about Rafael Stone. He's been a stud in that front office. And Ryan Hollins joining us here on Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Ryan, is there anyone from back in the day, could be 80s, 90s, when you played, that you would comp to Amen Thompson?
For one, I said this, Rick. He's the most unique athlete I've ever seen play the game. There's things that he does, like, bro, Rick, yet last game, he's on the side. He throws the ball to somebody. He gets it back. He's on the side of the rim, and Amin Thompson shoots a floater from the side of the backboard. He misses it, and I blinked and looked another way, and he dunked in his miss from the side of from the side of the rim. Normally it's from the middle, and you can see it coming off, and the guy will dunk it back in like a big guy or something like that. He dunked the ball back in from. I've never seen that before. And from his position, if I want to give comps, I gotta put for one. I don't think I've seen it, but I'll probably have three names that you got to bear with me. Here's the second jump of Sean Marion. Sean Marion, if
Mm-hmm.
you always remember, Sean Marion's second jump was crazy. Sean is a
Mm-hmm.
pogo stick. He would be in the air. We'd be on the floor, still Sean be in the air, putting it back up. That's why he was able to be one of the first small ball forwards that legit played against, a traditional power forwards. He's a 6'6" Russell Westbrook. It was fun watching us play Sacramento and him get up and down. He's got that similar unorthodox Euro step over, downhill. I just know I'm faster than you type of burst. And then I think I see a lot of Iguodala in the sense where, when you threw Iguodala at the point in Philly, he struggled a bit, but when he went to Golden State, he was able to be an off-ball point guard. He could play the point. He would get up and down. It wasn't traditional. He still developed that three-pointer later in his career. So I see a lot of Iguodala. So those three, as far as their game or comps, I would throw in for Amin Thompson. And then like what's crazy, fellas, there's two of them. There's two of them.
Yeah.
There's another one. There's another one in Detroit, which is crazy. So just the Thompson twins, I heard about them, but until you see them, you really don't understand. Like it is crazy.
And Detroit is so freaking deep that Amen Thompson's playing like 25 minutes a game. That's how deep that team is. And I love Osar, love Amen, loved him coming out, Ryan. And I was telling people, I do some evaluation. I just watched tape on my computer and stuff, and I'm like, what is happening right now? I can't wait to see these guys in the league. Oh, they're raw with the shot. I don't care. They're going to find a way to get it done on this basketball court. By the way, Sean Marion's a Hall of Famer to me. I think it's a travesty he's not in the Hall of Fame. And I don't say that, I don't throw that around, right? Sean Marion has the resume to be a Hall of Famer. Fix it, guys. Guys, Ryan, I got one more, then we'll go to B-Dot and Dwight. We'll get you out of here, Ryan. Quick question. Please give me an intensity story that personifies Kevin Garnett.
Which one, Rick? Which one?
The spiciest one.
So we were playing Atlanta, and for those who don't know, we purposely paired up with Atlanta. We lost some games because there wasn't a plan. So you'd be slated 3-4 games at that time, and you could get in and match up. And we felt like we at the 7th seed, they were balling, man. They had Bibby, Joe Johnson, Al Horford, but we felt like there was a team that we could have a lot of success against. So we matched up with them, and as we're going in, all the speaking heads, Rick, we're on the dark side now. Fellas, we're on the dark side now. We're not players anymore. We're not in the game. We're speaking about it. Everybody was, Kevin Garnett's too old. Kevin Garnett's too old. This and that. And Kevin went off. I want to say in like game 3 at home. We had lost game 2 in Atlanta, and Kevin goes off. He has like 35 points, 15, 16 rebounds, just iced out Atlanta. Like he goes off. And I remember me and Greg Stiesma were walking back into the locker room because Kevin don't shake hands after the game, bro. Like he's back in the locker room already. And I kid you not, I swear on everything I love. Look, we walk in and Kevin is just looking and he's just sitting there and he's just flexing. His eyes are closed and his fists are, but nobody around, hey, you guys, Doc, the memes where they be like nobody, and then someone just doing something. It was nobody, hashtag or colon, and Kevin Garnett is there, and on his arms, you could see the goosebumps on his arms flaring up. He was so hyped up from the game. There's so much adrenaline going. There were literal goosebumps on Kevin's arm, and he was just sitting there and the game was over. The game was over for 10 to 15 minutes, Rick. Like this is not like after the game, and he was just everything that he had been doing and the frustration and the hype, the energy. I mean, we walked, Rick. I thought I was a guy that worked hard, right? Like Ryan Hollins worked hard, pick up full court, all these. When I got there, Kevin helped me be a pro. I realized I didn't approach the game with the right focus. Shoot arounds were locked in. You walk in, he's going through a shoot around, and it was game. You know, we like go game speed because you're gonna get a bad habit. You're not gonna do that again. He would be fully drenched by the time we will walk into the gym. You know, and he was taking game shots, and he knew in his mind before I took the shot in the game, I already saw it. In you know, in shoot around or my pregame warm up, and then even he'd have all the coaches locked in. Like, and if you talked or you goofed around, he would cuss you clean out. Like, he would let you know, and like first, like, you know, he'll give you a look. He'll give you the look, y'all playing around or something, and then like a grunt, and then, you know, if you didn't catch on, the words will be there. But I learned so much. I approached the game different. I realized that even as a player, we had to like go into a scouting report as our game plan. It wasn't coaches saying hard show on the screen or switch or this. Like, it was our game plan, and we will walk through circumstances where, hey, if this guy is stuck, Rondo, you got my back. This happens, me and Paul, we're gonna switch. Like, the players went through and absorbed this information, and he taught me how to study the game and how to see the game differently and how to just take pride in my game personally, and then being a team player. But he's the greatest teammate I've ever had. He's so encouraging to everybody. He truly honors the game of basketball, and he's another guy that I don't think he gets enough respect for what he brings to the table. But if you talk to anybody who's played with Kevin, you glow because you know what he means to the game, and the integrity behind the game. He taught me so much. I probably would have been out the NBA after that season or two, if not for Kevin Garnett. So I love him and respect him for it.
Wow. Wow, what a freaking story right there. Are you kidding me? First favorite player of all time in any sports, Magic Johnson. My second favorite player of all time in any sport is KG. Love KG. You know what, from Minnesota, Ryan? Like, we got to rep the soda, and KG's my guy. All right, B-Dot, hit him with a question, man.
All right, man. So, Ryan, man, you played, you played for 9
Stop
teams
trying
in
to be
2
serious,
seasons.
B Dot. I need the fun Dot. No, I need
Nah,
Dot,
look,
bro. I don't want to talk to
hey,
Brandon. Stop playing with me, bro. Come on, Dot. Come on,
look,
Dot.
man, look. So, I gotta get the intricate. I try to get the fan side of the question, man. So, you played for 9 teams in 9 seasons. From playoff contenders to rebuilding rosters. What's the biggest basketball adjustment players don't realize they have to make when they move, from different teams that often?
Man, some of the best advice I got. I was in LA as a young fella, man, and I'm out at the club. It was a random night, bro. And you get out, like, everybody goes out on the weekends, but like the real hitters, like, not to be like this, like, they out on a Tuesday, they out on a Wednesday. So I remember I was in a club one night, bro, a random spot in LA, and Rick Fox comes out of nowhere, and I grew up watching Rick Fox. Like, I was a big Rick Fox fan, old school Lakers, like, and we're talking, and he pulls me to the side, and he's like, listen, man, I'm gonna be straight up with you. He said, I know you're going into the draft and everything. I don't know if I was going there, I was drafted at the time, but he said, look, man, you have 2 years in the NBA to establish yourself. They're gonna give you a chance. Don't start feeling yourself because you're gonna make some mistakes. They're gonna roll with your mistakes. But he said, in year 3 and 4, they need results. And if you're not bringing results to the table, you're not going to be in the league for that long. So that stuck with me. That I needed to be prepared to play, to bring good minutes. Because when you're young, man, I'm running around as a young fella. I'm just trying to dunk everything. I'm trying to make my name known. Like, I'm just trying to show honestly I belong. And you're looking for that transfer from those players into winning. And I would say you probably name a couple of guys right now that are getting put under that fire. Franchises are saying, can we get behind them? In a different way. There's levels to this. I was levels under, but Zion Williamson is a guy that, is being challenged by the Pelicans to say, hey, can we rely on you moving forward? Are you our franchise piece? Or do we need to pivot off you, around you? John Morant's a guy, you know what I'm saying, where they're saying, hey, John, we've seen the excitement, but now, we want to see, essentially the results. Hey, Alperen Şengün for our guys, he's being challenged to step up in a way and say, hey, man, are you a good player? Are you a piece of a championship? So, the challenge is there with these guys, and the league don't have a lot of patience, dog. I'll say that, and obviously there was less with the 50th pick from a top 5 pick, So you get asked to come out and put up results very quickly. And I love and respect Rick Fox for that. And I try to pour into young fellas anytime I see him.
I love that, man. I appreciate the insight.
Oh, look,
And
That's
Dot, you know
look,
it.
that's
Dot, you know it. Hey, hey, Dot, you go to the club. Dot in the club talking basketball too. He talking hoop too. He don't.
Come on, man.
He got a water in his hand. That's not a drink, bro. That's a water in his hand talking basketball. I'm serious. Like you gotta catch him. You know what I'm saying? So all love, bro. You already know.
Already,
I love it, man. I love it. All right, Dwight Walton, hit Ryan Hollins with the last question here.
Hey, Ryan, I can confirm. I was a teammate with Rick Fox on our national program here in Canada. I was his roommate
Yeah.
for an entire summer. So he was about it. He was about that business. His NBA career was synonymous with how professional he was. He liked to have a good time like we all did. But when it came down to business, he was about it. I appreciate and respect that story you told about Rick just now. I want to go back to your Rockets roster right now. I'm a fan of this player. Talk about the growth and the way he's playing right now. Jabari Smith Jr. I think he's a major part of what the Rockets want to do going forward. I like his length. I like what he brings to the table on both ends of the floor. I think he's a plug and play guy. I know there's some inconsistencies there, but I like the metrics that he brings. Talk to me about Jabari Smith Jr.
To the naked eye, you're not going to appreciate Jabari. The naked basketball eye will not appreciate him. And this kid is like, bro, he's obsessed with being great. It's like, like he's like the hero origin story. You know what I'm saying? The guy that is gonna go out and work. He put on probably 10 to 15 pounds of muscle in this off season. And he's a guy when you look at him, sometimes you're gonna get what you get out of like Luka. His second or third year in the league was Luka. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Jabari is a 7-8 year process. I think in his 8th and 9th year, you're probably going to see his best basketball. Steph Curry, I think Curry didn't become Curry until around, year 5 and year 4 or 5, where it was like, oh my God, like this dude's unbelievable. So Jabari's one of those guys, but he's such a team guy and such a winner. What do you mean to do? Guard the other team's best player, 1 through 5. Chase every rebound. Hit open shots. For those who don't know, he's been chasing Kevin Durant the last few summers since he's gotten the NBA, trying to just pick up any bit of greatness. When those two shoot, keep an eye on Jabari. He shoots with Kevin. He is glued to wherever Kevin Durant goes. Okay, that's a little gem in order to make himself better. And for Jabari, he's being tested because right now they're going. Houston's the most unique team in the league. We got two guys that demand double teams. You will get fried by Alperen Şengün if you don't send a double. He will drop a 50 ball on one-on-one coverage. You will get fried by Kevin Durant if he's one-on-one and you don't send help. You better be helping on the nail. You better stunt and you better be, having a game plan, to take him out of the game. So what's that leave? Jabari Smith Jr. is the guy that shows when he scores 15 or more points. I think if I want to say Houston's undefeated or possibly one loss, if not at that. So he's the true X factor swing guy. And when he's scoring those points, that means the ball is moving and he's prepared to shoot. And I think the challenge for Jabari, he didn't play great when Alp went out against Dallas. He was good in the first half, wasn't great in the second half. So he's still learning so much as a player. And I was thinking about this today. He's going to be asked to go get his 30. Now, last night against the Pelicans, he got his 30. But I think as he grows and matures, teams are going to say, Jabbar, you get 30 because we don't want Kevin to get his 30. We don't want Al P to get his 30. And he steps up, that pressure is going to be taken off. And like when you watch our games, there's just a connection between him and KD that when he's open, KD's throwing him the ball. He's trying to get him in kill mode. And his confidence has just risen to a whole new level, but he's still adjusting to the role that he's been put in. And he's that guy that makes him unique. Also, he'll hit a big shot. I call him Big Shot Bari. He's fearless. Like he really believes in he's a real hooper. Like I want to be great. I want to be one of the best to ever do it. Like I want to be special. Like he believes that in his mind and he puts it at work. He's obsessive about his work ethic. And so much so that Jabari's a rhythm player. Catch 1-2 pull up, catch, 1-2 pull up, back to the basket, turn, spin. You can see that he's drilled these moves thousands of times, and now he's expanding what he has in his game with the more minutes and more opportunities that he's gotten.
Another hit by Raphael Stone, the Jabari Smith draft pick, no doubt about that. Ryan, I'm super proud of you, man. You're absolutely fantastic and getting better with every broadcast. And I'm just proud of you, man. And starting at NBA TV, all the climbing of the ladder you've done. I'm out here rooting for you, man. Really appreciate your time, and we'd love to circle back with you, like maybe after the All-Star break in advance of the playoffs or something like that. But Ryan, we appreciate you, my brother.
You got to leave, Ryan.
I didn't say I had to leave. Rick trying to kick me off the show, man. You know, he kicked me
Yeah.
off.
I'm just trying to be respectful of your time. We're at about a half hour. B-Dot, if you got another question, hit him, man.
One more
Shoot, we can go with the flow here.
Come on, Doc.
Hey, look, man. From being a player to now being a broadcaster, the transition, what's the difference of how you look at the game now from a broadcasting aspect versus as a player, and how much different is it from you being a player and you're watching film and you're critiquing your game and the other players versus now you're just, I don't want to say critiquing, but actually, looking at other players' game and watching it from a live aspect.
For those who don't know, me and Brandon have had me and Brandon have had talks, and I'd be like, "Are you still playing, bro? What are you doing? Are you still playing?" When you have that competitive itch, it's hard to be on this side because you're looking at that guy and you're saying, "I'm better than him. Give me an opportunity." And you don't make it to the levels that we made it to, whether it's NBA, overseas, without having a competitive edge because you always have to beat out the next man. When you truly convert to this side, that competitive edge has to be gone because your job is to honor those guys' hard work, and you want to look through a clear lens where naturally, bro, like, Dot, you looking at another shooting guard and be like, man, he ain't good enough because you saying like, I can do this. Or I'm looking at another center like, oh, he's weak, But now I'm appreciating the game. I'm seeing the way that these guys play. I'm putting in my 10,000 hours. You got to learn the King's English. And then we have something as former players, right, that they can never take away from us, right? You feel me? They can never take away from us the game, the it factor, the swagger, the aura. And then when you mix in our experience with the King's English, now we become dangerous. But that takes time because they don't always want us to know that side. They just want to say, well, I'm broadcast your former player. And then when you start to merge the two together and be yourself within that, and now you've learned that language, now I can speak your language too, that makes you different. That makes you scary. But a lot of times they just want to say, well, he's backup center, former player, shooting guard, overseas, influencer. And it's like, no, you're scary when you're saying, I can do my job and your job too, and I have the swagger to bring it to the table, and I put in my 10,000 hours, and I learned the King's English, and I know the street talk too at the same time, and I can be relatable. So, from my standpoint, that's when you become dangerous. But the answer, for me, it's when that competitive edge goes, and I'm competing to be great on this side, and I'm my biggest analyst. I'll share this. Like when I first came in, when Rick knew me as a young fella, I would break down my own film. Like I would edit my own segments. And when I learned editing, and I know you do a lot of that too, Dot, like you know how to put together a good segment because now you're thinking about how you relate and how the producer sees you, how the editor sees you, how the social clips are running. So for me, that was the challenge, and I become better. It's no different than in basketball. Like, bro, you got to know every position. You should be able to know the spots from the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and be interchangeable. So now you're dangerous because I know my guard didn't come off the pick and roll tight. I can drill guard moves because I know what my guard's supposed to do. So he's getting me open, and now I became a better big. So the same thing on this side. Rick knows how to edit, produce, put all this show together, and not just be a play-by-play. So now he's better on this side. So that's the thing as players we don't always grasp and put in that work in the 10,000 hours on this side so that we can improve. So that's one of the big challenges that I took on, and then I was able to be more honest with myself.
I love it, man. I appreciate that.
I got
Come on, man.
I
What
got
an
one.
answer.
I got one more.
Yeah, Dwight, hit him with one more. Ryan, I love that answer, by the way. The science of broadcasting. And it's a science and art kind of all fused together. But you can't just show up as a former ball player and just sit down and put that. I mean, some can, like Charles Barkley, just a natural. Like it just drop him in it. But for the humans out here, for us regular guys, like you've got to work at it, man. And I just love that answer. And that was a great question by B-Dot. All right, Dwight, what's up?
So to expand on the media question, Ryan, your days at NBA TV, your guest spots, ESPN, wherever you've been an analyst, do you find yourself being careful with your critique or your criticism with players, especially players that you're familiar with, that you know better than others? You're on the media side now, so your job is to be fair to the viewer. Are you cognizant of the fact, if I say this about a person, that this player may come at you away from the camera? Do you care about that? Do you parse your words? Are you careful with your words? Or are you just doing your job to the best of the ability? It's not easy. I know, to be critical of your peers, guys that you played with, guys that you're broadcasting for, even as an analyst now with the Rockets. Do you find yourself not trying to be as critical, or are you more focused on just doing your job to the best of your ability?
That's a great question. For me, my first rule of thumb is I would never get in the way of a player getting paid, for one. You don't mess with people's money. You don't mess up the family money. And I don't like
Yep.
saying anything about young players or the glass is always half full with those guys. When I spoke about Ben Simmons, I always said he's going to be an all-star in the league for years to come. He's an immense talent, but he can't shoot right now. So I'm not going to I'm not going to anoint him the way that others did. But I was always very clear of this guy has a lot of game. Let's not tear down anything from him. To much is given, much is expected. So I'd like to try to tell the truth. I was transparent with guys. If anybody ever reached out or we spoke, shoot, I say it. I was and I say this because I don't think it's hidden thing. I had moments I was hard on Dame Lillard because I love his game. I love Dame's game, and we're good now, but we've had friction. I just throw that out there. But I also told him in a sense like, bro, I want you on a mountaintop. Like you don't understand how I look at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing you and Curry 1A, 1B. Like that's how I still see Dame, to this day. So, I wanted monster performance selfishly always out of him. And I've been hard on Dame in moments, even at NBA TV. I'll say that, but like he's one of my favorites. He's a worker. He's arguably the most respected player in the NBA right now. Am I wrong? I say Damian, if you said any player in the league right now, Damian Lillard is universally respected in the league. He's that guy. And I think we had man-to-man conversation, but he knew at the end of the day it was all love and the respect that I have for him. And we're human. So if I offended you, like what happens, Rick, like you say something is never the player that hears it. Cousin heard it on the side, and the
That's
cousin
right.
calls him up and
Right.
say, "Hey, he said da da da." He don't hear where you say he's been great. I'm pulling for him. He just say, "Man, he didn't show up in the fourth quarter way we expected." In a certain moment. So I got love for those guys. And again with our team, I'm pulling for the brand and I'm pulling for the players, and I see the work that they put in. So I'm not in a role, and it's important. Just like on the team, a role. Like, if I'm playing with Dot, I want 4 3-pointers. And you know what I'm saying? When his man steps up, he better be giving me a dunk on the roll. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a role to play. So my role with the Houston Rockets is I try to be as fair and show love to both sides. I'll be honest when a guy needs to work harder, but I want everybody to know how amazing our players are, how hard they work, the gritty mindset of our coaching staff, the hours, the 10,000 hours that they put in. So I step into a different role. I know my role essentially on this team. So that's how I approach it, and I've never been afraid of having a conversation with guys. And I think that ultimately, as long as the respect is there, it moves forward. And then, from my standpoint, yes, it sucks because sometimes people are going to challenge you because anytime you're on a big platform, they're going to challenge your career and say you can't say something to somebody else. When all due respect, there's some reporters who've never even played college basketball
Yeah.
or writers that are giving hard analyst takes. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a part of it in today's game and how you position yourself. And I have a deep respect and love for the game, at the end of the day. And I'm not afraid of being wrong in a conversation. I've had to give some guys apologies, you know what I'm saying? So I never shy away from it, but I have a deep respect for the game, ultimately at the end of the day.
Ryan, like I said, I listened to you guys, you and Craig, like a lot. Like it sometimes you get what you get on League Pass, right? You don't have the option. I don't want to mention my cable service is so janky, it sucks. Okay. But I'm always pumped when I get a Rocket game and I hear you and Craig on there. What I can say, Ryan, is that your tone and your balance of what Dwight asked you and what you just said is right where it needs to be. Like, it's right where it needs to be. Just cultivate that, groom that, and stay like there in that pocket. Because I just think you're fantastic. And what you're fairly critical. The key word is fair, right? And you know what else you guys aren't? You guys aren't insufferable homers. You and Craig.
That means a lot.
I'm telling you right now, and I know the Houston fan base. I worked down there for a year. They love their freaking Rockets, okay? And they're super invested in the team, and I know they're invested in you and Craig. And you guys are clearly pro Rockets, but I listen to all these guys. Like, you know me, Ryan. I'm a play-by-play nerd. I could rank 1 through 30 all the teams, right? I could do that fairly intelligibly. And someone's going to catch a stray here. I'm not going to mention a name. But the Golden State broadcast, they are insufferable homer. Actually, I'm going to leave Kalena out of this. Okay? The play-by-play man, Bob Fitzgerald, who's phenomenal, okay, hits the high note as well as anybody ever has, okay? I'm a fan. But my God, if there is some kind of thing going against the Warriors, I mean, get them some tissue. It's unbelievable. So, and like Tommy Heinsohn was charming as that insufferable homer, right? Like, it was funny. It was a bit. You know what I mean? But, oh, are you kidding me? These refs are awful tonight. Like, and he would just go off. That stuff was funny to me, right? But Bob Fitzgerald is awesome, but when he hits that whiny note, he loses me, man. And there's none of that with you and Craig. And so, Ryan, we're never trying to hustle you off a broadcast here, man, but I just want to be respectful of your time and just really appreciate you coming on. And again, we'll circle back after the All-Star break and we'll get you back. Much love, my friend. Be well.
Don't you make me wait till the All-Star break to get back on here, but
Okay.
hey, don't you make me wait that long,
Hey,
Rick? But
are you good?
no, seriously,
Ryan, are you going to be in LA for All-Star is the question. Are you going to be out in LA for All-Star?
No plans right now. If something happens, or Doc gets me an appearance, I definitely love to come out. You know what I'm saying? Doc got like 1 million. He the influencer of influencers, okay? He's an OG now.
We'll
You know what I'm saying?
We'll be there.
He the original. If he shoots me with some of his ad sponsored money, I might be there, But kind words, Rick. Kind words, Rick. You're right on. We definitely pride ourselves on being straightforward or saying that, we messed up a call because a lot of times we get the challenges. So that means a lot. And I know for Craig, he tries hard to be fair and direct in a lot of moments. And we're fortunate because we have a lot to cheer about. Like, we have a good group, good coaching staff. So you're right, man. And I'm thankful. And we have a very highly intelligent fan base and Rick, you're being spot on, because those who don't know, like, during the commercials, when we would work together, he'd always give me advice. He always said, like, man, I'm glad you're a director in those moments. He helped me. Rick, you helped me so much in my career, man. Just giving me advice, telling me what I need to do better, telling me that you like that point, or like, hey, you appreciate my honesty in situations. So I appreciate you, and I see you swagging out over there with the ponytail, Rick. I didn't know that swagger was crazy. Your aura maxing, Rick. I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying?
So Ryan, Ryan, there's like two versions of me right now. This is TV Rick, podcast Rick. I'm also a percussionist and a singer, and I play out in St. Pete. I had a gig last night, and so I've got really long hair now. And I'll send you a video. When we get done with the show, I'll send you a vid, like with the hair big, because it can get kind of big. I got really curly hair, right? So I kind of got like a white dude fro going on over here.
Rick, we all living through you. You know what I'm saying? I know Dot's holding on. You know, we just trying to hold on to what we got. You know, hey, fellas, I'm at the age you just grow it as long as you can, and then you taper the sides. You know what I'm saying? You holding on. You know what I'm saying? There's no more. I would never be Chris. I would never be Chris ever again. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
Give me that soft line up front. Soft line. Appreciate you, fellas, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you too, man. I'm going to continue hair farming, and I'll send you that video, Ryan, and we'll catch up with you soon, okay?
All right, fellas, anytime, man. Great show.
All right, big dog.
Phenomenal. Ryan Hollins, baby. Peace. Woo!
Peace.
That was fun. B-Dot, how do you know Ryan? Take us into that a little bit.
Man, just through the basketball world, coming up, especially being out in LA, around like 2015, 2016, we've crossed each other's paths through social media, and then we were able to get on the court together. He's been an advocate of mine for the longest, and that's been on the court and off the court. He loves my game. We played in celebrity games together, so he's like, "Yo, Dad, you need to try out somewhere. You need to play somewhere, man." So he's always been a big advocate and like a big brother and a great friend, man, especially, introducing me to Los Angeles in general. So that's my dog. We locked in forever, man. So it was good to have him. I was excited when you guys put in the text message you was going to have Ryan on the show. I'm like, that's my dog. That's my guy.
Because I didn't know about all that. Like that's not the cherry on top. That's the whole Sunday right there. Like that's phenomenal, dude. I absolutely love that. And we'll be having him back on. He apparently had a little bit of fun here, and we certainly had a bunch of fun with the great Ryan Hollins. All right, back to our question here, B-Dot. Will Boston be the top dog in the East with a healthy Tatum, and if they trade for Jaren Jackson Jr.?
By far. Even if they got to give him Ant Simmons in, he's been playing great. They have because they paid Peyton. So that's who. I mean, if it was between those two for that point guard to come off the bench, and they have a great development guys also. I don't know. I don't want to get my man's name wrong. Ball head, played in the G League, young guy, and he's been putting up some really good minutes. Is it? Is it? He's more of a.
I'm not sure either.
Nah, yeah. Ball head got game, but yeah, top dog by far. Like, come on now, you're adding Jaren Jackson. He's like you said, Dwight, great defensively when locked in. So now you have somebody down there for rim protection. Then you have Jason Tatum. You can throw him to 3 or 4. You can have Jaylen Brown. You got Derek White and whoever you want to add at that 5th spot, you can. You got range. You want to add a defensive guy. You want to add another guard. Oh, by far, top dog. And Jason Tatum, you need to take your time. Wait until after All-Star break. Wait until March. Wait until April. You will have plenty of time to come back. As these guys, they haven't missed that much of a step with you out, and we want you to come back as healthy as possible, and come back and prove these haters wrong. Because at one point people didn't want to admit, but you were the face of the NBA. Granted, you don't have crazy antics and you're a smooth, mellow guy. Man, keep that dog in you, and I know you're gonna come back even more hungry. So with the addition of Jaren Jackson, if possible, it's scary. It's a wrap in the East. It's a wrap. I don't care what no one says. It's a wrap. And I'm a Detroit guy. I love Cade. I love JD to the T. But man, what Boston is scary with Jaren Jackson. He falls right into. Now it's gonna be pressure, okay? Because Boston have some really great big man historically. And now you're stepping into that big man spot. You got to do your thing. You got to respond. And I think he will. I think he has that grit. I think Joe Mazzulla bring that grit out of him that we haven't seen in Memphis of late. And yeah, it'll be a hell of an addition. And Boston will take the East.
I think you're talking about Jordan. Are you talking about Jordan Walsh?
Walsh. There you go, Rick. There you go. Come on now. I got you.
What's up, Dwight?
Come on.
No, it's to me, if all they have to get now again, I don't know the pieces that would go to Memphis if it is Anthony Simons, if it's whomever. If they can keep that core group together, where it's Pritchard, Derek White, Tatum, Brown, and then you add a Jaren Jackson Jr., not only are they one of the biggest teams in the NBA, that whole lineup can dribble, pass, and shoot. And they can all make plays, and they're all above average to elite defenders. You, again, why would the Grizzlies want to help the Celtics out? I don't know, but listen, if there's one trade to be made, and if that can happen, not only are the Celtics the favorites to come out of the East, you could arguably say that team will give the Thunder a run for their money in a 7-game series. I would love to see that because both teams bring it on both ends of the floor. And with the mad scientist Joe Mazzulla just being so active on the sideline, you give him a gimmick or whatever he needs to do, he will get it done. Hey, if the basketball gods are listening, if you can get Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Boston Celtics, I am all in. I would love to see that. Love to see it.
Dwight, ask me a very simple question, like just a super simple question about anything.
And about anything?
Yeah, just yeah.
How do you start off your average day, Rick?
Illegal screen. B-Dot, ask me just a random question. Ask me just one random question.
Who do you model your hair styles off?
Illegal screen.
Well, hold on. Wait. Here's my question though. Was Joe Mazzulla, was he fined for that?
I don't believe so because he was right. The last 2-minute report said he was right.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It said the screen was illegal on the game winner against him. You guys know I love Joe Mazzulla. I freaking love Joe Mazzulla. He's so strange, man. It's so different. And a complete gangster coach. He is a gangster among coaches, man. Boston. He's going to be Boston.
Spent 4 years in West Virginia, man. You're going to come back a little different now.
I hear you. He's going to be the Celtics coach for the day. He's going to be like Spoelstra. He's going to be there forever.
100%. 100%.
I mean, I don't see them firing him. I think he's going to retire when he's, I don't know when the hell, but I'm a huge fan. All right, so guys, here's my answer. I'm with you guys, okay? I got to get to my spot in the rundown here. I'm with you guys. This is a big if, right? But let's put it out there. The trade deadline, guys, is like 2.5, 3 weeks away or something like that. And we talked about the Jackson intel. But if Boston gets Jaren Jackson Jr. and a healthy Jason Tatum, and Dwight, I love your point. Like, OKC's like, okay, I see y'all now. Like, they could win it all, not just the East. So your lineup would be Pritchard, White, Brown, Tatum, Jackson. Arguably the best starting five in the league. You'd have a very strong bench because Walsh and Queta would then go to the bench, and they're starting right now. Teams got championship DNA. They've got dogs, okay? I would pick with that arrangement Boston to beat Detroit or New York in a 7-game series. Think about this, guys. Mm-hmm. Boston is 26-15 without Jason Tatum. 26-15 without Tatum. They're starting Jordan Walsh and Neemias Queta, okay? They're bench players, okay? God bless them, but they're bench players. Both of them, they're good bench players, but they're bench players, and they're starting for you. And you're 11 games over 500. You're number 2. You've got the dose in the East. The Celtics are 14th in defensive rating, but they allow the second fewest points in the league. Offensive rating-wise, Boston is number 2 in the entire NBA, okay? Check this out, guys. I looked up this stat. This blows my mind. I'm a big point differential guy because point differential shows how freaking good and consistent you are, right? You've got some teams with decent records, and they're like a plus 2.5 in the point diff. That means, you win some, you lose some. When your point differential is plus 6.9, okay, you're bringing it every night. You're bringing the heat every night. The Celtics are third in point differential. Absolutely shocking to me. I would have said top 10, but not third, okay? 6.9, third in point diff without Jason Tatum. That should be Jason Voorhees scary for the NBA. The Celtics are a sleeping giant, guys. Look, even if they don't get Jaren Jackson Jr., they could still very well win the East with a healthy Jason Tatum. And so it would be like game on against the Knicks and game on against Detroit. Getting Jackson would put them over the hump, right? But getting Tatum back, boom, it's a fair fight. Let's go. Heck, it might even be a fair fight right now without Tatum because, as we see, they're ahead of New York in the standings. Let's, guys, have a Knicks and Lakers conversation here. Both of these teams are in it right now. Let's start clocking these. Let's put 60 seconds on this one right here. Who is the more flawed contender, the Knicks or the Lakers? And I go to Dwight Walton first.
Oh, it's no question it's the Lakers. Everyone knows that I'm a LeBron James advocate, but if you read my text messages, to me, the Lakers are the most flawed, good team in the NBA. How could you be one of the worst teams from the three-point line, 25th or 26th in defensive efficiency? They don't shoot free throws well, mainly because of Luka Doncic and LeBron James. And in today's NBA, you need to be young and athletic. All of the 11 of their, I wanted to say 12 of their now 16 losses were by an average of 18 points. They're getting blown out by every young team. To your point about point differential, Rick, I believe they're in the negative, not the positive. Yet they find themselves in the top 5 in the Western Conference. It's a miracle. Let's see how it plays out. But the Lakers, by far, to me, are the most fraudulent elite team that we have in the NBA, without question.
Hey, Dwight, great spot by you. They're a minus 0.4 in point differential.
It's wild.
Wild. I can't believe that. I thought they'd be plus 4.3 or something like that. No, they're minus 0.4 of a point per game. That's a great stat, my friend. All right, B-Dot, more flawed, Knicks or Lakers?
Oh man, Lakers by far. Come on, man. The Knicks are in the East, so they got way more, not as much competition. Nothing against the East, but like I said, their Western Conference different, okay, with the amount of superstars they have. Also, the New York Knicks defend way better than the Lakers. They don't have LeBron James 41 plus. They don't have Luka and Austin Reeves, who they can't even guard their Starbucks cup. So defensive and DeAndre Ayton just down there. He a DeAndre Ayton. He a deer in headlights. He a deer Ayton in headlights. So it's clearly the Lakers. The Lakers by far. The proof is in the pudding. No much explanation is needed. Dwight gave the insights and the analytics. It's clear as day. Clear as day. No matter how many injuries the Knicks have, the Lakers are the more flawed contenders, if that.
I know DeAndre Ayton had a perfect game yesterday, okay, but I can't resist. Somehow, some way, he's still stuck in his driveway in that snowstorm in Portland and can't make the game for the Blazers. I still cannot believe that freaking happened. I mean, come on. I need a little bit more motor from you, DeAndre, than that. I'm just not going to be able to make the game tonight. You don't call out to an NBA game, bro. You don't have that button to push. Anyway. Used to love DeAndre Ayton.
Rick, yeah. Phoenix, 117 degrees. It's hard to being used to growing up in 107 degrees and going to Portland. Hey, man, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. All right, he probably was stuck and didn't know what to do. Hey.
My whole point with that was, how does somebody from the team not drive to his house and get him? That was my thing. Okay, I get it. Snow, ice, he can't get his car out, and maybe Uber's not going that day because it's a snowstorm or whatever the hell's going on. Like, somebody leave the team facility and go get him. I just didn't understand any of that.
Not LaMarcus Aldridge. It's not LaMarcus. It's DeAndre Ayton. They were like, okay,
Yeah.
we good. Let's bring in
Right.
Kingman. Up the big man to start with a
Don,
K.
Donovan Clinton, yes.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's get him some more minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, I'll keep this quick because I thought this might be debatable. Apparently, it's not. The Lakers are 7th in offensive rating, 26th in defensive rating. They're not bad defensively. They suck defensively, okay? LeBron and Luka refuse to play any defense. They're no longer starting Rui because his defense was so bad, and somehow Laravia's decent. He's not a defensive guy. Come on. DeAndre Ayton doesn't defend. He just grabs rebounds. Austin Reeves is a minus defender as well. You can win with an elite offense and a mid defense. You can't win with an elite offense and the 26th defense. Not going to work. Knicks are 3rd in offensive rating, 19th in defensive rating, which is the Tibbs effect. I told y'all, I would not have made that move. I would not have. And I love Mike Brown. I do. I'm happy for him and stuff. But look, firing Tom Thibodeau is going to come back to haunt the New York Knicks. But I do say the Lakers are more flawed. All right, guys, I want to do a couple of quick hitters. Let's just have some fun with this. Again, a 60-second clock on this. And Dwight Walton, I want to go to you first. And guys, if you can cue up Draymond tripping Cat, that would be phenomenal. Should Draymond Green have been ejected, Dwight Walton, for tripping Karl Anthony Towns a few days back?
I was so heated about this situation, Rick and Dot. First of all, he should have been ejected. Second of all, I wouldn't have minded if it was a 5 to 10 game suspension. Draymond Green is teetering. So, I will say this over the airwaves. The Knicks players would have been justified for coming off of the bench. I am not by any means an advocate for fighting in any sport. All right. I know there's fighting in hockey. That's a whole other conversation. All right. But what Draymond Green did, he purposely grabbed the ankle. A serious injury could have occurred there. He should have been thrown out, should have been suspended for multiple games because he's not a first-time offender here. There is precedent. He has a reputation. That was bush league. That was dirty. Terrible, dirty. So if somebody had punched him out, I wouldn't have minded it, with all due respect. It's crazy. Anybody grabs my ankle, I am pissed. I'm telling you that right now. You're on mute, Rick. You're on mute, Rick.
Dang it. All right, so I just want to tag it real quick. Adam Silver and Joe Dumars and the ruling arms before Joe Dumars have always said, we take your history into account, okay? So it's not a clean slate and they adjudicate every incident that pops up. If you're Dylan Brooks or Draymond Green or one of these guys that, does this kind of stuff, you build a book, okay? And so the fact that I agree with you. The 5 to 10 games I know Adam Silver is somewhere going, he doing that because he didn't even suspend him. All right, B-Dot, should Draymond have been ejected and or suspended for tripping Cat?
100%. EJ, and I'm a player's guy, but at that point, like, what are you doing? Granted, the reach across while you were on the ground, you were still going for the ball. That was dangerous in general anyway, because if you reach across and your elbow hit his knee, that could be even more fatal. Now you're pulling his ankle on top of that. Like, Draymond, you gotta go sit down. You gotta go to the showers early with multiple game suspensions. Because come on now, if the history is a factor in this, if that's the case, you get him till All-Star break. Because look at this, you grabbing this man's ankle, like, and this is a big man. Now, what if you grab his ankle? He fell into Brandon Podisky, whatever his name is, and now you done hurt his knee. You feel me? And then Brandon fall on Steph's ankle. Now Steph out of it. I got it. I'm going to worst to worst. You never know. I watch Final Destination, so the worst can happen. So you gotta go. He should have been suspended handling. He should have been a meetup of the referee. It's like you said, Big Brother should have yelled down and been like, "Get his ass out of there." Like,
what are we doing? He hits him in his chest, hits him in his knee while reaching for the ball. Okay, I'll give him that. But then he realized he couldn't get to him, so he grabbed that as this ain't football. This is basketball. That was beyond Bush League. Ridiculous. Like how? Like I don't understand. I don't understand.
Draymond knows
Dwight.
what he can get away with the ref. Even you can just tell how he talks to them. Like he's screaming at them, and it got to be from the higher ups. They got to be like, all right, this is the level you tolerate Dre with, because he's disrespecting them, like blatantly, like bro, you already got, you don't even. That's a tech. It's a tech right there, and they're like, yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. It's wild.
So, Dwight, you asked the question, what are we doing here? What we're doing here, not us, but the bigger we, is enabling and empowering this. Steve Kerr looked the other way when he punched Jordan friggin' Poole. Okay? Adam Silver, who Draymond always talks about, he's got a relationship with him and they're texting him, blah, blah, blah. Like, how does Adam Silver not suspend Draymond freaking Green for this? Are you kidding me, bro? And Adam, I love you. You know that. He was my boss for 17 years. But give me a freaking break, dude. Like 10 games, I'm not going to go all the way there. But 2 or 3 games I think would have been bang on for this. All right, here's my response to this. It should have been a flagrant foul 2 and an ejection. No doubt about it. Guys, what we have here is a desperate, aging player who can't do what he used to do. And he's frustrated and he's lashing out, okay? This is Draymond Green holding on to a greasy rope and it's slipping through his hands, and below him, it's not looking good. And there's no safety net, okay? Literally you saw it on this play. Falling down, flailing. I mean, dude, you can't keep your front feet in, you can't move your feet to stay in front of Cat on a drive. This is not Durant or Jabari Smith or like a really nimble big, right? This is Karl Anthony Towns at 270 or 280 pounds. I mean, his strides are like the entire paint in length. And you can't slide your feet and get over in front of him, bro, you're washed. Draymond Green is washed, okay? If we're going to call Klay Thompson washed, which he kind of sort of is, we have to call Draymond Green super washed, okay? Guys, he's going 8-5-5 this year, okay? Charles Barkley, one of his great lines is the triple single from Draymond Green. I freaking love that. He's 8-5-5. I rest my case. All right, let's move on here, guys. Okay, this is a fun one right here. Dwight Walton, you first again, 60-second clock. Bald Wimby or mini fro Wimby? Which are you taking?
I'm taking bald Wimby all day, every day. It's the intimidation factor. He looks meaner. He may not be physically imposing, but his confidence, his stature, his swagger, whatever it is, I'm all for it. His confidence has permeated through the entire San Antonio Spurs organization. His play, his presence has expedited their process, if you will. They're legit championship contenders this season. What Victor Wembanyama is doing in limited minutes, because the Spurs are trying to make sure that he's healthy for the most important time of the season. What he brings is immense to me. He and Nikola Jokic have the most impact on winning in the NBA as far as I'm concerned. And the more intimidating Victor Wembanyama looks doing it, I am all for it. I'll take bald Victor Wembanyama all day, every day.
B-Dot, bald Wemby or mini fro Wemby?
Hey man, look, I'm gonna be honest, man. If I'm walking down the street and I see a 7-footer, 7'5" dude with an afro, I'm like, oh man, he a cool guy. He play ball somewhere. Now, if I'm walking down the street, I see a 7'5" bald head guy. He already got the airbender widow's peak. You see it right there. You got the airbender widow's peak. Oh yeah, I'm out of here. I'm walking in the complete opposite way. I don't even want to see this man on the court if we walking in the gym together. I'm going ball Wimby, man. Come on, I'm going monk Wimby. 39, 34 and 9 to 39 and 9. Like, come on. It's different. Like Dwight said, the swagger, the confidence is there. And we all know when you come on home, when you come on home to the Jordan bald head, your career elevate. We seen what happened with Kobe.
No.
Kobe went ahead and cut them little spectacles off. And look, actually, come on, two rings after Shaq. Like, like, come on now, Bron getting there now. Once Bron go officially bald, and Lakers, the Knicks are now the worst contenders than the Lakers. But until Bron goes bald, the Lakers are the most flawed contenders in the league.
Oh my God, I freaking love this. I had a feeling this question would get some good responses. All right, it's bald Wimby. Come on, man. So guys, they took the loss to OKC, and Wimby was like, hell no. And they had lost 2 in a row to OKC in Minnesota. Shaves his head, goes out and goes 20-10 with 5 threes in a win over the Bucks, then 39-9 with 4 threes in that win on Saturday against Minnesota when Edwards had 55. So it's bald Wimby, man. First of all, it's a dope look. When you can have a full head of hair and you go bald, that's dope. It also shows how serious he is. He's not trying to be cool or look cool. He's doing it for one reason, and his whole seriousness, right? Win titles, many of them. He wants to be great. My favorite thing about Wimby is the dog, the maniacal pursuit of greatness where nothing else matters. He really has the Mamba mentality. And I looked it up. He has studied Kobe. He has studied the Mamba mentality. And Kobe, arguably the most serious player who's ever played the game. And Wimby is arguably the most serious player playing in our game today. So bald Wimby for sure. All right, Dwight, a couple of football topics here, and then we'll get to our rant. We'll get out of here. First of all, Dwight, who do you have in the national championship game tonight? It's finally here. We get Indiana and Miami at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Who you got?
For as much respect as I have for Curt Cignetti and what he has done, not only with the Indiana Hoosiers football program, but throughout his career, being able to bring his players from James Madison to Indiana and to have them on the cusp of accomplishing something that we haven't seen in a long time in North American sport. What Mario Cristobal has done with that University of Miami program, he doesn't want to say it's all the way back until they win a championship, but for whatever reason, for as dominant as the Hoosiers have been on their way to this game tonight, I'm picking the Hurricanes, man. I don't know why. I know the game is in Miami. I know that Indiana fans, they travel in droves. They will have about 40,000 fans themselves at Hard Rock Stadium tonight because that's how well they travel. But for whatever reason, Mario Cristobal, this entire week, I know for a fact he's been using bulletin board material because he feels that they've been underappreciated. They weren't even supposed to make the tournament, Rick, if you recall. There were rumblings about there were going to be, when Duke played Virginia in the ACC championship game, there were rumblings that there were going to be no ACC teams in the 12-team tournament. But Miami did enough to get themselves in over Notre Dame because they're head-to-head, and I'm sure Coach Cristobal used all of that in their preparation and for motivation and inspiration. And the fact that they're going up against an Indiana program that has dominated the field in this tournament, and most, if not all of the pundits have Indiana winning tonight, Cristobal will use that as fuel for his players and for himself. What I respect about Coach Cristobal, you can tell he still thinks like a player, although he's the head coach. And he has rallied that program back to prominence. And because the game is in Miami, I just have the feeling the Hurricanes are going to shock the college football world and beat the heavily favored Indiana Hoosier program tonight.
B-Dot, the Natties tonight, my brother. Who you got, Miami or Indiana?
Man, look, I gotta go. I gotta go with Indiana. Okay, they about to beat Miami, and it don't make sense. You know, this is exactly why they're gonna win and why it's gonna happen. Because let's be honest, Indiana college sports, ain't been relevant since Larry Bird. Okay, had the short shorts and the mustache. Okay, maybe you can sprinkle a little Victor Oladipo in there back when he was with Indiana for a minute. But other than that, Indiana sports, they've been minding their business for the last 40 years, okay? Which is why this is dangerous, because now the Indiana Hoosiers are playing with house money. No expectations, no pressure, no PTSD, okay? Meanwhile, Miami Hurricanes, they got to deal with the history, the headlines, the vibes. Michael Irvin, we're going to need to throw him in rehab either after the win or after the loss. We got to keep an eye on Mike, you know? So that it means Indiana, they about to play in 80-degree weather, palm trees, and bad decisions, all right? And you know what's scary? Indiana kids don't even trust sunlight in January, okay? Now you don't put them in Miami. They think they on a reward trip. They in heaven now. You feel me? They loose, they reckless, they grateful. So that's a dangerous combination, all right? Miami they have the tradition, but Indiana, at the end of the day, they have nothing to lose. All right, so I'm going with Indiana. I'm going with Indiana. Indiana shows up, they win, and it's about to be a Disney movie. They going to Orlando afterwards. Then they gonna go to Live, Tootsie's, all the clubs. Indiana, they about to go crazy. I got Indiana.
They're gonna live first. No, Doc. They're gonna live first, then Disney World.
Disneyland. There you go. Yep.
Then Disney. That's right.
You are hilarious, dude. You are hilarious. Club Space, by the way, that's my spot in Miami. I love Club Space, man.
That's pretty cool. I've been there before. It's quite smooth.
Yeah. It's a dope spot. They got all the different rooms with different music and stuff. It's huge. It's a colossal club. I've never been in a club like that. And it's Miami, my favorite city.
You go in there? You go in there with the hair out or with the ponytail? When you go to space, you got the hair lavish.
Well, I don't have a ponytail yet because my hair is curly. I just kind of brush it back. But if I was going to Club Space, the hair would be out. Yeah, it'd be like let's let the ladies kind of see what's going on over here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm on a boost. We got my man Slick Rick in the building, ladies and gentlemen. I got you. Right. I'm gonna hype you up on the mic.
On the ones and twos.
That's right. That's right. B-Dot, I want to jam with you, by the way, man. Last night I played drums for, 4 hours, 15 minutes with DJs. We had a gig there. Oh, I like that right there. It's my guy, Fletch. That's hilarious, you guys. That's hilarious. But anyway, dude, I play drums with percussion, with DJs. Like I have two drums. Cool. They're usually behind me. They're in my car right now. But yeah, I play with DJs around St. Pete. And just bring like the organic to the uncy, and the dance floor loves it, bro. I get them butts moving, my brother.
I always love a percussionist, a live band, or a pianist when during like DJ sets or live sets. We do a lot of that with like
100%.
karaoke.
Agreed.
And it just brings the authenticity. And I like when performers actually perform with the band behind them and nothing, no speakers, just straight band work. You feel it. You feel the music more. It sounds more better. You're more tuned. It's more intimate. So we definitely got to get a session in. I'm looking forward to that.
Would love that, man. Would love that. All right, so let me give you my answer here. It's Indiana. They are by far the best team in college football. And Dwight kept saying, Miami, some kind of way, like he's just kind of feeling a shock the world moment, right? And that's cool, yes. And it might happen. But Indiana's the best team in college football, and it's not close. They stomped two excellent teams, Alabama and Oregon. They're going to send an entire unit to the NFL. They're sending like 8, 10, 11 guys over the next 2 years to the NFL. Cignetti is special. You can feel the Saban energy coming out of him, but he's authentic. He's not like duplicating Saban. Mendoza's special. The human and the arm and the legs, and he's clutch. Indiana has no holes, none. They're good on special teams. Their defense is bad to the bone. They're the hardest hitting team in football. The other hardest hitting team in college football, Dwight, the Miami Hurricanes. So that's how they win tonight, is get to Mendoza, knock him down, make him see ghosts. But I'm not sure they're going to be able to do that. I have gotten Joe Burrow and Ed Orgeron LSU vibes from this Indiana team from about midseason. They just are way better than everybody else. And that Joe Burrow LSU team rolled everybody, okay? And I don't know if Indiana blows them out tonight, but I do think that they're going to win by a couple of touchdowns. The spread is 8.5, so I've got the Indiana Hoosiers. I think they're finally going to win.
That's a blowout.
Well, blowout-ish. Blowout-ish. Okay, one last question here, guys. And Dwight, you first. Are the Broncos done without Bo Nix? He's done for the season. He broke a bone in his ankle. Sean Payton announced this yesterday. And the guys are going to kind of roll the video here of the injury. It's very hard to see. It's not like an obvious, oh, yeah, that's when it happened. But anyway, Dwight, and 60-second clock here. Are the Broncos done without Bo Nix?
This is what I will say. The talk has been about the Broncos and the Texans and how elite defensively they were coming into these playoffs. We knew the Patriots were good. The Patriots have been elite themselves defensively during these playoffs. So to have Jarrett Stidham come in, again, he is a Sean Payton guy. Payton brought him with him from New Orleans. So I understand the familiarity. He has enough reps to at least try to replicate what Bo Nix can do. But when you're so familiar with Bo Nix over the last 2 years, Jarrett Stidham here has been put in a very, very bad spot. It's going to be tough for the Broncos to come out on top next week. And I have so much respect for what Mike Vrabel, Drake May, and that whole Patriots team has done to get this far. It's going to be tough, man. I'm leaning Patriots here. As much as Sean Payton can coach his tail off, man, the only reason I'm going to give the Broncos any hope is because the game is in Denver. Other than that, man, the Patriots are playing lights out defensively, and Drake May has done enough offensively for the Patriots.
B-Dot, are the Broncos done without Bo Nix?
Man, the defense gonna have to put a hell of a show. They gonna have to do their thing in order to have a chance. And it's in Denver, so that gives them more of a chance than usual. We see that, Drake May, he can't turn over the ball. He had an interception last game. So, they're going to have to try to find some, something uncomfortable for that Patriots offense because it's looking like a cakewalk. And I don't want to say a cakewalk because these are NFL players, and the Broncos have had a top 2, top 3 defense in the NFL this the whole season. So, it's going to have to be a game. It's going to be a great game management game. We're not trying to throw it all on the Broncos backup quarterback to do what they got to do, but they got to put some points up. And the Broncos, they're going to have to turn Drake May over. They're going to have to make them feel uncomfortable. But it's looking like Patriots all.
Super Bowls with backup quarterbacks. Tom Brady, Nick Foles, Jeff Hostetler, Doug Williams, Trent Dilfer, Jim Plunkett. Lots of backups have won it, okay? And just when, they're done, they're dead. That's when that team surprises you and wins. The Broncos football by far. We saw Drake May struggle a little bit, actually a lot in the first half against the Texans pass rush, but they couldn't recover a dang fumble, and then they ran out of gas. Jarrett Stidham is better than just a backup. He's not like Andy Dalton or Jake Browning or Mason Rudolph. He's north of that. He's not great, but he's pretty good. And you got Sean Payton. So, guys, my end story here, I believe the Patriots are going to win and go to the Super Bowl, but I believe that the Broncos are going to cover the 5.5-point spread. I think it's going to be a field goal game. I think it's going to be close. May. So we have reached the Roundtable rant. Dwight Walton, and you go first.
Wow. Well, again, I spoke about this with Draymond Green, and I've met Draymond Green several times, and I respect what he has done over the course of his career. And I'm on record as saying the Warriors became the Warriors because of Draymond Green. And I've met him, I've stood beside him. We're basically the same height, 6'5.5", 6'6". And for him to overcome that as an undersized power forward or center, whatever the Warriors have asked him to do, he has done. He is arguably one of the best defensive players, even at 6'6", to ever play in the NBA. However, I cannot ignore the dirty, not even the close to the edge, the dirty style of play that he has brought in some playoff games, and most recently, the incident we saw with Karl Anthony Towns. Enough is enough, man. I understand that Draymond Green is a well-spoken athlete, has a terrific podcast. Whether you like it or not, he comes with serious information. Some stuff he should keep to himself because you don't want to be a tamperer or to give out inside information. I know it's difficult, but to bring fans on to have clicks, you do what you have to do. But enough is enough with the dirty style of play. The next thing to happen is that you're going to seriously injure somebody. And the same way you decked Jordan Poole, someone is going to come after you, Draymond, and you're not going to like it, right? A lot of bullies don't like to be bullied. Right now, you're the bullier. And someday, someone's going to have to come with it to you as well. Again, I do not advocate fighting, but if the Knicks players wanted to come off the court the other night, it would have been justified. Again, I have the utmost respect for a four-time champion and ultimately, arguably, one of the best defensive players to ever play in the NBA. But enough is enough, dude. Enough with the dirty stuff. You're better than that. Yes, you're on the back nine of your career. You are not the same defender that you once were, but you don't have to resort to dirty tactics to stay on the basketball court. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Well said, Dwight. Well said. All right. So I got a rant on a guy named Bill Simmons. I used to call him Ill Bimmons, as not to like say his name, but I don't care about all that anymore. We all know who he is. It was with the Ringer or something right now. I don't know. He used to be on ABC, ESPN, and all that. So Bill Simmons on his lame podcast, and Awful Announcing put this out on their Twitter feed. Fox NFL studio show has been brutal this season. I don't disagree. However, Bill Simmons got whacked from the ABC ESPN studio show with Wilbon and Stephen A. and Magic Johnson, and I can't remember, it might have been Greenberg hosting. I can't remember who the host was. But y'all remember that, okay? A few years back, Bill Simmons was attacking Magic Johnson after games in their postgame. And I read Magic's body language. Magic was like, dude, I'm about to jump over this table and like, I don't want to complete the sentence and like, because Magic's my guy, my favorite athlete of all time, one of the greatest people I've ever met. I freaking love Magic Johnson. So I'm sitting at, I might have been, I was traveling with the NBA at the time, but I don't remember where I was, but I'm watching this and I'm like, they have to fire this guy. You cannot, you can disagree. You can exchange ideas. You can get into the debate zone. Although on a studio show, it's not first take, right? They're two different things, okay? Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears got that a little bit juxtaposed yesterday or Saturday, Ryan Spears was saying they need to bench CJ Stroud at halftime, and I thought that was not just way off base. And Ryan Clark was defending that. But in a studio show, you don't get into the debate zone. You just don't do that. It's not what you do. But what the hell does Bill Simmons know about a studio show? You got fired from a studio show, bro, because you sucked at it, okay? Couple other things about Bill Simmons, who I despise, okay? early in my career, I was the fantasy host on NBA TV at the time. I had not yet become an anchor. So he had this little article or whatever the hell it was. And a buddy of mine was like, did you see what Bill Simmons wrote about you? I'm like, who's Bill Simmons? And that's not a joke, although it can be taken as one. I'm like, who's Bill Simmons? He's like, guys, some writer. He's got a following and stuff like that. And he showed me, and it was like something with feces and like something about my energy and like I'm disingenuous or something. And I'm like, all right, so that guy's dead to me. If I ever see that guy, I'm not like a fighter. I'm not. But like, okay, screw that guy. He's dead to me. And so a bunch of years later, 2006, I'm at the All-Star game in Houston. And I'm walking up. I'd seats near the top of the lower bowl. And I'm walking up to my seat. It's right before game time. And I see the program director of NBA TV, Rich Koppelnick. Great guy. Love Cop to this day. Phenomenal boss to have. So he's just being nice. He doesn't know about this Bill Simmons thing. He's sitting on the aisle. Bill Simmons is sitting next to him. And I'm like, Cop, what's up? And I went over to say hi to him. And he's like, Rick, hey, how you doing? Hey, there's somebody I want you to meet. I want you to meet Bill Simmons. And I'm like, all right. But it's a boss, so I'm like in the political zone, right? Like I'm thinking in my head, I'd rather die than do this, but I'm going to do this with a smile on my face. So I stick my hand out to Bill Simmons, who's like right over here. And I said, hey, Bill, nice to meet you. And he shook my hand and did not take his eyes off the court. He did not look me in the eye. That's about as big of a douchebag move as you can possibly make, okay? So all these years later, he's banging on the Fox Studio show, and I want to bang on Bill Simmons because his current podcast sucks and his takes are lame. B-Dot, you get the final rant of this show.
I love it. All right, man, let's go ahead and close it out. All right. So let me tell y'all something funny, all right? And by funny, I mean very telling. We asked Jovan Buha a real question, not a hot take, not clickbait, a real basketball question. One about how the Los Angeles Lakers actually operate, roster building, decision making, LeBron James influence, internal pressure, the gap between perception and reality. And then Jeannie Buss likes to post. Cool, respect, slight flex. But then she unlikes it. And that's when it got interesting. Because that tells me the question hit too close to the truth. See, liking the post means, yeah, this is a fair question. Unliking it means, oh, wait, I probably shouldn't be publicly acknowledging that, okay? And that right there, that's the Lakers in a nutshell. The franchise that wants transparency, but only when it's comfortable. The organization that celebrates family until a real power conversation shows up. But let's be real. Nothing about the question was disrespectful. It wasn't anti-LeBron. It wasn't anti-front office. It wasn't anti-illusion. And sometimes the illusion matters more than the answer. This isn't about social media likes. This is actually about how sensitive truth becomes when power dynamics are involved. Because if everything is aligned, if everybody's on the same page, if there's no tension behind the scenes, then why would a question make anyone nervous? So yeah, that like mattered. But the unlike told the real story. And that's my rant.
Wow. How about that? Jeannie Buss liking and unliking. You're absolutely right. She was like, this could be taken by somebody, aggregated, put out on Legion Hoops or NBA Central or whatever, and now I'm in the middle of a fuss. But if I'm Jeannie Buss, what did she get from the Walter family for the Lakers? 10 million? Or billion, pardon me? Yeah. Like what? If you are a whale like that, who cares? Right? Dude, if I had $10 million, $10 billion, I'm not going to do like irresponsible stuff, but you know what? I'm going to speak my mind. And like, if you don't like it, then I'm going to go over here on my $300 million Yakata, okay? And we're just going to sail around the seas a little bit and, drink some Dom Perignon and, living the good life. Well, what does Jeannie Buss care about all this stuff? By the way, I've met Jeannie many, many times. She is a sweetheart. I love Jeannie Bus. She is a really, really, really good person. She is super smart, and I'm happy for her. I still can't believe she sold the Lakers, though. I really can't. You know, Dr. Jerry Buss, and you say, I'm not mad at her. I'm not saying she made a mistake, but I'm like, I never thought I'd see that day that the Buss family sold the Lakers. But hey, man, but if you got all them billions, Dwight Walton, I don't give a dang if Laker Nation is salty with me or if Clutch Sports is salty with me. I could not care less.
No, listen, first of all, Dot, great rant right there. And the thing is, to your point, you like a post, and then the unlike is going to make the news more than the like itself, right? Because the unlike means you hit a nerve. Jovan Buhan knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
And don't be surprised if Jovan got an email saying, listen, you're going on a podcast talking about some sensitive stuff here. Listen, we respect your work. Be careful, right? So, listen, Jovan is a very well-respected. He's a Lakers beat writer. He knows, right? But, Dot, that question, Jovan answered the question, struck a nerve, man. Well done.
Yeah.
Much respect. It struck a nerve.
That was a great question, B-Dot. That was an awesome question, dude. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, we got to get out of here, guys. Let's all watch some hoops. And again, keep MLK in your thoughts, not just today, but moving forward, man. It's about peace. It's about love. I tagged that on most of my texts, most of my posts. Peace and love, man. That's it. If we all peace and love, more of that equals less violence, less hate, less trauma, less suffering, okay? Love and peace, man. It's really easy. Tap into it. For Brandon Armstrong, for Dwight Walton, for our great crew behind the glass, Jason Arambulo and Kai Josephson, and our phenomenal guest, Ryan Hollins, I'm Rick Kamla. Dr. X and AM Pfeffer, they'll be back with us very, very soon. We'll see you again Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern on Beyond the Surface.